Hello and welcome back to the Quarantine Theater Company. I almost forgot the name of the group for a second. Oh, embarrassing. Anyway, tonight we're doing a fun read for you. Not very Christmassy, but what the hell? It's a fun ass movie, and I was inspired by Wednesday. So we're going to be doing the Addams Family. And joining us tonight, let me get my notes because I already forgot who everybody is. We've got Kate doing our scene description tonight. She's going to be our Flora. We've got Hunter joining us as a Gomez Addams. I'm going to be doing Morticia. Lynn is joining us this evening. She's going to be our Wednesday Addams. And then we've got Eric. He's going to be our Pugsley, if you couldn't tell by the stripes. And we've got George as our resident bald guy. He's our Uncle Fester. We've got Katie. She's going to be several people for us. She's going to be Granny, Abigail, and our cousin It. Looking forward to that impression. We also have Travis. I am sorry to give you Travis. I'm kidding. We love Travis. He's going to be our Judge Womack, but he's also going to be our Lurch, and he's going to fail miserably at it because he's not going to remember what I told him to do when Lurch is on the screen. And then we've got Mary joining us. We love Mary. She's back with us. She's going to be our Tully and Margaret. And then we also have, that's it, actually, because we were supposed to have another person and they never joined. So yay. Without further ado, Kate, not Katie.
We're playing the twins. It's okay to confuse us. The Addams Family.
Go for it.
By Larry Wilson and Caroline Thompson. Rewrite by Paul Rudnick, based on the characters of Charles Addams. Fade in. Exterior Addams Mansion front steps. Christmas Eve. A group of carolers, their eager faces upturned, sings endlessly and cloyingly rounded lay of Little Drummer Boy. They sing with self-righteous good cheer. As they pompously begin their umpteenth verse, the camera slowly pans up the Addams Mansion, past the black wreath on the front door, past broken windows, weather-beaten shingles, a creaking shutter. The camera continues to pan to the roof, where the Addams family members, Gomez, Morticia, Granny, Pugsley, Wednesday, and Lurch, their faithful butler, gleefully pour a cauldron of bubbling, steaming pitch over the edge. As the cauldron tips, the camera pushes inside the blackness of the pitch, fills the screen. Titles begin. Dissolve 2, interior dim hallway, 7 o'clock a.m. Close up on an oversized cuckoo clock. The clock is a perfect replica of the Addams family house, down to the creaking shutter. It chimes the hour. In one window, a little mechanical Gomez bends a mechanical Morticia back until she's almost off her feet and plants a kiss between her clockwork delicate delicage. 1, 2, 3 mechanical kisses, counting towards 7 o'clock. In another window, a mechanical Pugsley hangs mechanical Wednesday from a noose on a gallows, up and down. Meanwhile, little bursts of fog float off the rooftop where the little mechanical Granny cranks her fog machine. The front door of the house pops open and a mechanical Lurch appears and begins sweeping. Just then Thing, the disembodied hand with the full-bodied personality, climbs into view over the back of the clock. Thing leaps to the floor and scampers down the hall. Low tracking shot follows Thing along the hallway. He runs past a couple of doors, past a pair of legs in pajamas, feet in bedroom slippers. He skids to a halt and backtracks to the legs. He pulls on the cuff of the pajama bottoms. They belong to Gomez, who stands in the doorway. Interior Fester's room, Gomez wears a fez and smoking jacket over his pajamas. Even at this early hour, he puffs on his trademark cigar. Gomez is all enthusiasm or all despair. At the moment, he radiates unfathomable, whoa.
Think of it, Thing. He's been gone for 25 years. For 25 years, we've attempted to contact Fester in the great beyond.
The room is dusty, cobweb-filled, long unoccupied shrine to Gomez's lost brother Fester. Gomez drifts in from the doorway. The room has remained untouched since Fester's disappearance as a teenager. The thick coating of dust and cobwebs adorns the mementos of a rapscallion's youth, a football pennant from Alcatraz, headless sports trophies, a high school photo with all other students keeping as much distance from Fester as possible, as he lovingly and morosely surveys the room.
And for 25 years, nothing, not a whisper, not a clue. I'm beginning to think my brother truly is lost.
Gomez sighs. Thing tugs at his cuff, pulling him towards the interior hallway. Same time. Galloping ahead of Gomez, Thing leaps into an old-fashioned door latch, and the door swings open into interior Gomez and Morticia's bedroom. Same time. Gomez approaches bed, asleep on scarlet satin sheets is Morticia.
Look at her. I would die for her. I would kill for her. Either way, what bliss.
Low voiced, incisive, and subtle, with Morticia, smiles are rare. The ghostly whiteness of her complexion is offset by the red of the pillowcase upon which her hair is spread like a diabolical halo. A dark garbo, sultry and remote, she is a ruined beauty. Morticia opens her eyes.
Unhappy, darling.
Oh, yes. Yes. Completely.
Cut to interior Pugsley's room, same time. Pugsley crouches on the floor, playing with his kid-sized chemistry set. The walls of his room are covered with road signs he's collected. Bridge out, detour, excavation ahead, dangerous undertow, keep clear, high voltage. Sawed-off stop signs, still on their poles, are stacked in the corner, ready to go. In another corner stands a cylindrical floor-to-ceiling fish tank, filled with a piranha. This tubby, energetic monster of 9-year-old boy has every chance of growing up to be the public monster his parents would be proud of. He mixes chemicals in a beaker, the brew steams. Grinning wickedly, Pugsley swallows it down. He contorts, undergoing the beginnings of transformation, then shrinks to the size of a mouse. Laughing, he crawls out of his human-sized pajamas. Cut to interior attic, same time. Solemn and mournful, 10-year-old Wednesday has black hair and white skin like her mother. She sits on a stool among the stored Addams family objects. One end of a string tied to her tooth, the other tied to a trap door. The trapdoor is flung open. Granny pokes her head through. She's a giggly hag who looks like she was in the bathtub when the hairdryer fell in. Wednesday's pulled tooth swings at the end of the string.
Thank you, Grandmama.
In a foul mood, Granny tromps up into the attic.
You kids are going to have to kill your own breakfast this morning.
Wednesday opens a cigar box. Inside the box are assorted human and animal teeth, fangs and dentures, along with a collection of glass eyes. Wednesday drops her tooth in the box. Cut to interior Gomez in Morticia's bedroom. Same time. Gomez takes Morticia in his arms. As she languidly drapes herself across his chest, she is caught in a sudden shaft of sunlight. She squints. On the bedside table beside her, Morticia's oversized carnivorous orchid wilts.
Gomez, the son. Il me perse comme un poignard.
Dish. That's French.
Oui.
Cara mia.
He kisses his way up to her neck, then, suddenly bursting with enthusiasm and a sense of purpose, leaps from the bed, drawing his bedside saber from its sheath and brandishing it at the offending beam.
On guard, Monsieur Soleil.
He thrusts and parries, pantomiming a duel with the shaft of light.
Gomez,
Quiera.
last night you were unhinged. You were like some desperate howling demon. You frightened me. Do it again.
Gomez, instantly aflame. Exterior rooftop. Granny delivers a swift kick to her fog machine.
Lousy bucket of bolts.
The fog machine, straight out of the Jules Verne nightmare, is malfunctioning this morning, struggling to churn out its patches of fog. Cut to Morticia in Gomez's room. At the window, Gomez pokes his head out. In the background, Morticia brushes her hair with a silver brush.
Granny, where's your fog?
From above, the fog machine hurtles downwards, decapitating Gomez by millimeters. It crashes below, smashing through the front porch roof. Cut to interior entrance hall later. Standing beside the front door is Lurch, the gigantic family butler, a reanimated, stitched-together behemoth. He holds 2 brown paper lunch bags with his enormous hands. The bag's contents wriggle, eager to escape.
Thank you, Lurch.
Pugsley takes his bag, opens it, and peers inside. Lurch growls, and Pugsley closes the bag.
Grr.
Okay, that's a growl, apparently. Cut to exterior balcony outside Gomez and Morticia's bedroom. Gomez is hitting golf balls, things serving as his tea while Morticia sips tea. One of the golf balls flies with incredible speed through the window of the Addams' only neighbor. This well-tended home sits on the hill overlooking the Addams' mansion like some Republican centennial. Cut to interior neighbor's house, same time. Judge Womack, the Addams' crusty patrician neighbor, is having his breakfast when Gomez's golf ball lands in his cornflakes, shattering the bowl, covering him with milk. The judge hurries to his broken window, shaking his fist.
Damn you, Addams!
Exterior Gomez and Morticia's balcony. From their vantage point, it appears to Gomez and Morticia that Judge is waving to him. Gomez waves back.
Sorry about the window, Judge. Keep the ball. I have a whole bucket full.
He holds up a bucket of golf balls. He tosses his golf club to Thing, who deposits it in the golf bag. Gomez joins Morticia watching the departed school bus.
Oh, the little ones off to school. Bless them.
They grow up so fast, don't they?
Too fast.
From their point of view, tires are smoking. The school bus strains to chug down the road. Gleefully hanging from the rear bumper is Pugsley, dragging his heels. Cut to interior of the conservatory, later that morning. Morticia, wearing gardening gloves, is snipping the blossoms off the roses. Gomez sits at a table playing chess with Thing.
It's a milestone, Tish. This very evening, our 25th seance. All those years, gnawed by guilt, undone by woe, burning with uncertainty.
Oh, Gomez, don't torture yourself. That's my job.
Tish.
Imagine, darling, if Fester did come back, half alive, barely human, a rotting shell.
Don't tease.
Exterior, just outside the Addams' grounds, Tully Alford, the family attorney, and his wife, Margaret, approach the gate. Well, gate. A wrought iron monstrosity that opens of its own accord. Though Tully comes here often and Margaret has been here before, they never cease to be startled by Gate. Tully has a puffy, once handsome face, and an embittered gray aura that is the mark of a middle-aged, misspent, high-strung, and superficial. Margaret is more disappointed in Tully than he is in himself. Margaret passes through Gate first, then as Tully passes through, Gate slams on him, clipping him and catching the end of his coat. Tully fights the Gate for his coat.
Let me go!
Ignoring Tully, Margaret continues stiffly up the walk.
Give me that! Stop it! I'm warning you, it's not a good day.
Cut to interior conservatory. Gomez moves a chess piece. Thing gestures out the window. Gomez and Morticia both look out. As they do, Thing moves 2 chess pieces, cheating.
Tully is here, darling.
Ha, that Tully.
Romping with the Gates.
Check.
Thing moves another piece and gestures in triumph.
Checkmate.
Exterior Gate, same time.
Tully, can't you keep up? I'm trying.
Tully rips his coat to get away from Gate.
These are your last paying clients. May I remind you, if it gives you pleasure. Something has to, like a decent coat, something dressy for evening. Ask for a loan. Beg. No loans. I'm not a bum. Don't say it. I'll get the money. I've got a plan. This is all so humiliating. Why did I marry you? Because I said yes.
Margaret marches on towards the front door, skirting the fog machine as if it had every reason to be there. It hisses at Tully as he passes, splattering his trousers with fog. Cut to interior entry hall. A little later, Tully hands his hat to Lurch and marches off towards Gomez's study. Finding herself alone with Lurch, Margaret is more nervous and intimidated than she would ever admit.
I'm here to see Mrs. Addams about the charity auction.
Growling, Lurch heads for the stairs. Screwing up her courage, Margaret resolutely follows. A little distracted by Lurch there, apologies. Cut to interior Addams family portrait gallery a little later. Tully stalks glumly along the hall and past the family portraits, generations of Addams grotesques in elaborate gilt frames heading toward the imposing doors of Gomez's study. On the floor lies a bare rug, eyes and mouth open. Tully, preoccupied, strides towards the rug. There's a sudden ferocious growl as he steps on it.
Damn!
He kicks at the rug, it bites him, clamping its jaws onto his trouser cuff. He flails, dancing around, finally managing to shake it off. Shake it off. And he finds himself face to face with one of the paintings, a portrait of teenage Fester Addams, draped in black crepe and holding a lit candle, though how it's holding a lit candle is in utter mystery. At 15, Fester was utterly hairless with a dead white complexion and eyes rimmed in black like raccoons. The identifying plaque reads Fester Addams, 1947 to question mark? Tully regards the portrait intently, almost as if having a premonition. The intricately carved doors to Gomez's study creak open, interrupting the reverie. Girding himself, gird your loins, Tully proceeds inside. Cut to interior Gomez's study. A saber slices through the air, its blade glinting. Tully's hand grabs for the hilt of the sword. He misses. The blade embeds in the wall with a thunk. It shudders.
Missed.
He leaps into frame, brandishing a saber. Tully backpedals, and as he pulls the sword from the wall, points to something behind Gomez.
That?
Gomez turns to see, and Tully charges, wielding the sword as if he means everybody cheats around here. Means to decapitate Gomez, but Gomez easily parries the blow.
Dirty pool, old man. I like it.
Gomez counters, driving Tully back. He shreds Tully's jacket.
Had enough?
They continue to fence. Gomez flips Tully's briefcase open, and a sheaf of legal-looking papers spills out.
Where's my pen? Never mind. I'll use yours.
His blade finds the pen in Tully's inside jacket pocket. He does handsprings back to his desk, landing gracefully in his chair.
First, the old business.
He swivels, warding off another blow, then cavalierly continues the duel as he signs legal documents scattered before him. Cut to interior Addams' attic. Same time. Morticia, Granny, and Margaret sort through Addams' possessions in trunks, boxed, stacked, covered with shrouds. Morticia opens a gigantic, elaborately carved armoire.
Perhaps it's in here.
I don't think so.
In the front of the armoire is an overstuffed garment bag labeled Uncle Knickknack's Winter Clothes.
Uncle Knickknack's winter wardrobe.
She carefully passes the garment bag to Granny, who chucks it aside. The next garment bag is marked Uncle Knickknack's Summer Clothes.
Uncle Knickknack's summer wardrobe.
She passes this garment bag to Granny, who chucks it also to the side. Next in the armoire is a body bag.
Uncle Knickknack.
That escalated quickly. Morticia continues going through the armoire. Cut to interior Gomez's study. Gomez and Tully are still dueling, still signing. Gomez hasn't even broken a sweat.
I wish you'd drop by more often.
Tully doggedly fights on. His jacket has suffered more shredding from Gomez's blade.
I like to, but
But what old sport?
oh, you know,
You know what?
I'm a bleeder.
Gomez stops dead at a document. Deftly, he disarms Tully, sending his saber flying up and out of view.
What's this? A new proposal? The Fester Addams Offshore Retirement Fund. What would they do?
What wouldn't they do? Is a very worthy cause, a great addition to the other Fester Addams funds.
Fester. All tribute to thee. Some called him inhumanly evil.
No!
Only our parents. I called him brother.
And his memory must live on forever. Through the money, I'll deposit the funds under my name for tax purposes.
Really? That's inspired.
He would have wanted it that way. Beloved Festa.
The sword tumbles back into his hand. They resume dueling.
Indeed. For Fester.
For Festa! A brother!
My brother.
One of a kind.
The doctors all said.
Kind to all animals. so good with children.
They never proved anything.
$1 million, the perfect amount.
It's brilliant.
It's untraceable.
But Tully, it's not old business. It's going to have to wait. You know the rules better than that.
What? This is different. It's in my name. Make an exception.
Old business is old business, and new business is new business, and this
Gomez holds up the proposal.
is new business. And we don't discuss new business again until...
With one finger, he rifles through the desk calendar, flipping endless pages. He lands on a distant date.
Next quarter. Next quarter.
Tully has gone white.
Next quarter?
Tully goes to attack like an enraged bull. Gomez does a kung fu backflip out of his chair, just missing being run through by Tully's saber. The saber skewers the overstuffed chair, and carried by the momentum of the charge, Tully somersaults over the desk, colliding with the chair and landing on the floor.
Fine lunge, but your reposite, tad rusty.
Gomez carelessly flings away his sword. Thing, perched on a decorative samurai helmet, plucks the sword from the air and resheaths it.
Make yourself comfortable, old man, while I get the money for the monthly expenses.
Tully lies ruined on the floor. Gomez grabs Tully's briefcase and makes a brisk exit, closing the office doors behind him. Tully crawls to the doors and slides them open a crack, intent on spying on Gomez. He peeks into interior den. At one of the floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, Gomez reaches for a book. Pulling it partway from the shelf, we see the book's title, Read. The entire shelf, a secret panel, revolves and deposits Gomez on the other side of the wall. Then it turns back to its original position. Tully gets to his feet, goes through the doors, and staggers for the bookcase. From behind the bookcase come the sounds of Gomez making his descent into the vault. Creaking, groaning, the sounds of chains and pulleys, vague animal howls, that's a little creepy, splashing water. Cut to interior attic. The armoire has been totally emptied, apparently of all bodies. Morticia looks over the contents of the nearby shelf. Thing sits on the shelf, offering a bejeweled treasure.
There it is. Just what we've been searching for. Thank you, Thing.
Morticia passes Margaret the jewel-encrusted cylinder of webbed gold, dragon's heads with gaping jaws at either end. Margaret is at first afraid to touch it, but greed helps her get over that.
My God. What is it?
A family heirloom. A finger trap from the court of Emperor Wu.
It must be worth a fortune. Look at those emeralds. Oh, Morticia, this is too extravagant, even for the auction.
Yes, Granny. Granny, did I hear you?
Let's keep it.
Oh, hush, it's for charity. Widows and orphans. We need more of them. Margaret?
Enchanted by the object, Margaret isn't listening. She inserts her fingers and they're instantly stuck.
The seance tonight. Won't you come? It's Gomez. I'm terribly worried. He won't eat. He can't sleep. He's been coughing up blood.
He coughs up blood?
Well, not like he used to.
Cut to interior den. At the bookshelf, Tully reaches for a book, approximately in the same place where Gomez unlocked the secret panel. But Tully's book comes out of its place on the shelf and nothing happens. Fighting back his frustration, Tully reads the title, Gone with the Wind. He opens the cover. A hurricane blast of wind gusts from the open book, blowing Tully's hair straight up, ripping his facial muscles. He manages to close the book and, heart-pounding, returns it to the shelf. He grins sheepishly at Lurch, who's been watching him from where he dusts in the hall, a feather duster in his gigantic hands. Cut to interior Gomez's study later. Close up Tully's briefcase, now filled with greenish doubloons. Gomez, wearing a green accountant's eyeshade, weighs a final handful of coins on an old-fashioned measuring scale and tosses them into Tully's briefcase.
There, The monthly expenses.
Tully snaps the briefcase shut and hoists it from Gomez's desk. Its dead weight in his hand, another hateful ordeal.
Don't suppose you have any paper money in that vault? Gomez, it's time for the new fund. A checkbook.
Never. The banks. I don't trust them. Strange people, Tully.
Really?
Not like you and me, or faster. The seance. I need you here for him.
Seance?
Tully lugs the briefcase towards the door.
8 o'clock. By the way,
Tully turns back and Gomez flips an extra doubloon across the room. It lands expertly in Tully's vest pocket.
I broke another of Judge Womack's windows this morning.
Tully resumes his put-upon march to the door. Cut to exterior Judge Womack's house a little later. Tully's on the front steps. The judge won't let him inside, searching his pockets for the doubloon, helplessly enduring another of the judge's tongue lashings.
Still working for Addams. Mother warned you, Margaret. I can still hear her voice clear as bell. She'd always say, day in and day out, Mary Tully Alford.
And you'll hear Satan laugh. Here's your doubloon. I'm stuck.
You low life, are those emeralds?
Cut to interior Tully's law office later. Tully enters the secretary's alcove, still lugging his impossibly heavy briefcase. His offices were once quite elegant, but now the leather on the chairs is starting to crack and a repainting is long overdue. Tully looks around for his secretary.
Miss Bradbury. Miss Bradbury.
She's at lunch, Mr. Alford.
Alarmed, Tully steps into his office. Sitting in a chair on the client's side of Tully's desk is Abigail Craven, an arrogant, aristocratic-seeming 60s doyen. Her steely will and conniving manipulativeness are barely veiled by a thin layer of polish and good manners. Instantly obsequious, Tully sets his heavy briefcase on his desk and shakes her hand.
Miss Craven, I was about to call you.
I'm certain you were. You haven't met my son, Gordon, have you, Mr. Alford?
Tully turns amiably, but his face falls at the sight of Gordon Craven. Fleshy and round, in his 40s, impeccably eccentrically dressed, his dark hair plastered with pomade, his barrel chest and his kamikaze demeanor, he is immediately threatening. Tully blanches.
Is this the one, Mother? The deadbeat you mentioned?
Before Tully can react, Gordon has him by the throat, hanging him upside down from the wall like an oil painting.
Wait a minute. Oh, hold on. You have to listen to me.
We do, Mr. Alford. And why?
Please, just hear me out.
Mother, your call.
Gordon and I enjoy a very special relationship. I'm wild about him.
She's a pip.
Refreshing, no? Down, Gordon.
Mother.
Gordon?
Gordon!
Gordon lets go, dropping him on his head. Whimpering, Tully crawls towards his desk.
And how is your wife, Mr. Alford? I've heard so much about her. Still charming? Still spending?
I don't have the money to repay you. I've tried everything.
We've lent you a considerable sum. Many thousands of dollars. Payment is due.
Soon, I promise.
Oh, Gordon. I want to believe him.
So do I.
He's so terribly frustrating.
She's a saint.
Silly boy. Make me proud.
Gordon traps Tully and sweeps him onto his desk. In Tully's briefcase, pops open as it hits the floor. The Addams' doubloons spill out. Abigail and Gordon light up at the sight of gold. They share a malicious smile. Gordon leers down at the battered Tully.
He lied to us, Mother.
It's not what you think. Those are doubloons for the Addams account.
Addams.
There's more. There's a fortune, but no one can get to it. Don't you think I've tried?
Have you? Have you tried hard? Ask him, sweetheart.
Gordon descends on Tully menacingly.
No, sweetheart, don't ask.
Tully's cringing point of view. Gordon's face hovers inches from his own. The glare from the light bulb hanging overhead wiped out Gordon's hair, making Gordon look as bald as a cue ball. It's like a sudden vision. The inspiration is obviously born of terror. Gordon is the spitting image of the long-lost Fester, as he would appear 25 years later. Tully, disbelieving, comes nose to nose with Gordon.
Festa?
Gordon makes a face at his mother. Cut to exterior the Addams mansion, silhouetted against the night sky, rain, thunder, and lightning. Interior Addams mansion den, evening. Morticia stands at the open window. Gomez stands behind her, his arms around her waist.
Hailstones.
And lightning.
It's a miserable night.
I know, darling. Seance weather.
Morticia leans out the window.
Children, we're starting. Put down that antenna.
Another lightning flash. Cut to interior motel room. A typical rundown highway-style motel room with stained fiberglass curtains and splotchy oil painting. Gordon is seated on the bed facing a cracked mirror. Abigail stands behind him, consulting a picture of Fester that Tully has lent them.
It's uncanny. My little boy. And this hideous creature.
Mother.
And creation. Thinking of it, my angel. No more grubby storefront scams. No more loan sharking to scum like Tully Alfred. All that delicious money, I can feel it right in my fingertips.
So can I.
Just 1 week and out. You locate the vault and then we're gone. Ooh. Before they notice what's missing.
And Alfred?
We need him. For now. And later, we'll be miles away and he'll take the rap.
Oh, you're so good.
Abigail holds up a shaving brush covered with foam.
Shave and a haircut, mister?
2 bits.
Gordon moans orgasmically as Abigail begins to shave him. Interior entryway a few minutes later. Lurch peels off Margaret and Tully's wet overcoats. Margaret wears the same clothes she wore on her earlier visit. The finger trap has made it impossible for her to change.
What a miserable evening. Don't add to it.
Wednesday has come to escort them. Tully tries to make conversation.
Big night for you guys. Hey, small fry.
Tully reaches out to pat Wednesday's head and she moves away.
Hello, sweetheart. Could you?
Wednesday deftly releases the trap from Margaret's fingers. Margaret is amazed. She tries to straighten her disheveled clothes.
Thank God. Call me a cab, Tully. Get it yourself. Give me the car keys. Give it a rest.
Morticia appears.
Welcome, honored guests.
Lurch presents a tray of vile-looking canopies. Morticia motions to the tray.
Entrails.
Lurch at his organ. He plays a crashing chord.
Oh, let us gather in this house of yearning on this day of heartsick loss, at this table of woe. Is everybody comfortable?
Interior den. The family and Tully and Margaret sit at the round table, the crystal ball in the center. In the background, Lurch continues to play mood music on the organ. Morticia holds a tarnished gold candle holder in the shape of a raven. The candle is in its belly and beams of light glow from its eyes.
Sing, O spirits, hearken all souls. Every year on this date, we offer a clarion call to Fester Addams.
Stop it.
Bugsley.
Pugsley has a meat cleaver aimed at his sister. Reluctantly, he hands it to Gomez.
Kids.
From generations, oh, I'm raising a raven. From generations to generation, our beacon to beyond, do you accept the glorious burden?
May it weigh me down through all my melancholy years.
All close eyes and join hands.
They do. Granny takes a squeamish Margaret's hand.
Ah, what a grip!
Granny pulls away, leaving her hand behind, her sleeve apparently empty.
My hand! She's got my hand!
Left holding thing, Margaret shrieks. Pugsley laughs appreciatively. Margaret tries to shake Thing off. Shake it off. Shake it off. But he hangs tightly, and Granny cackles.
Excuse me?
Ashen, Margaret tries to escape. Tully pulls her back to her seat.
Sit down, Pumpkin. Join for the fun.
Mama, you should know better. Ugh, Thing, you're a handful.
A handful, get it? Thing lets go and runs off. Margaret sits stiff as a corpse. Still chuckling, Granny takes hold of Margaret's now rigid hand with her own real hand. Margaret shudders. With a last look around the table to ensure that everyone is settled down, Morticia resumes the seance.
Wednesday? My darling, I can't hear you.
Let us ransom you from the power of the grave. Tonight, O death, let us be your plague.
Mama.
Feel that he's near. Mr. Addams. Gather your strength and knock 3 times.
Exterior the front door, same time. We see Gordon's hand in the door knocker, just his hand. He pounds 3 times, heavy hollow sound reverberating. Cut to interior den. Granny's eyes pop open.
Did you hear that?
Ask again, Mama, quickly.
Lurch's organ music perfectly underscores and punctuates the scene.
By all means.
Tully smirks, barely able to contain his smug enthusiasm.
Ask.
Fester Addams, I demand that you knock again.
Cut to the front door. Waiting for someone to answer, Gordon's hand knocks again 3 times, this time even harder. Cut to interior den, same time. The knocking reverberates through the room. Jubilant Gomez springs to his feet. Lurch hits the crescendo on the organ.
He's at the door.
He runs out and through the house to the entryway front stoop. His family at his heels, Gomez eagerly pulls open the front door. There on the front steps stands Fester from beyond. Gordon's head is completely shaved and his clothing and pallor are pure Fester. The exact resemblance is shocking. It seems a miracle. Gomez and Fester stare at each other. Fester's eyes have a hard, I dare you to question me look in them. Neither man says a word.
Could it be?
Is that him?
Is it possible? Oh my God.
Morticia looks to Gomez for confirmation. Gomez and Fester continue their face-off, and Gomez breaks the stalemate.
Fester!
Gomez!
Gomez throws open his arms. He smothers Fester in an embrace. Fester endures it. Abigail steps forward. She now wears a plain dowdy suit and her hair in braided coils. She now speaks in a German-Austrian accent.
Good evening. I am Dr. Penderschloss.
Interior drawing room a short while later. Fester stands by the tall baronial fireplace where an enormous fire burns. Steam rises off his wet greatcoat, enveloping him. He seems immobile. a pair of shining black ferret eyes calculated. Pugsley stands nearby beside Fester's steamer trunk, studying the exotic decals.
How did this happen? How did it come to be? The story, it is most amazing and also beautiful. He is found in Miami, tangled in the tuna net. It was just last month during the Hurricane Helga. The sky, it was black like pitch. The waves, they were walls of doom. Can you imagine? They drag him from the ocean, from the very jaws of oblivion. I'm telling you, these are tests, so many tests and complete psychological profile. There are tests at long last, but the Florida Department of Fish owns the game. They say, lo and behold, my oh my, go tell it on the mountaintop. He is your brother. Boom. They give him to me at her human services, and I am bringing him after all these years, after all, who knows what our take, after the naked and the dead, I am bringing him home to you.
That's preposterous. Margaret.
Tully nudges her in the ribs to shut up.
But don't you think it's absurd? Honey. Isn't that the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard? Awesome.
It certainly is.
Gomez slaps Fester companionably. Fester hates being touched.
And now you're back.
Back to share your joys, back to share your sorrows, back to share, well, hey, everything. Well, I just don't know.
Tully hands Margaret the finger trap to distract her.
Darling, how does this work again? An infant would understand.
Margaret, disgusted with Tully, demonstrates the finger trap. Her fingers are instantly trapped.
Fester Addams, home at long last.
Well, at least for a week.
A week?
Don't be ridiculous. You're home.
Sorry, but I have to get back. I've got a lot of things cooking in the Bermuda Triangle.
Oh, Gomez. The Bermuda Triangle.
Devil's Island.
The black hole of Calcutta.
Excuse us.
Second honeymoon.
At the steamer trunk, Pugsley is disintegrating the lock with a beaker full of acid and an eyedropper.
Dr. Penderschloss, will you be staying too?
No, I really must be going. But I will be back, you can bet. To be checking in on Fester's adjustment.
The acid has eaten away at the lock on Fester's trunk. Pugsley opens the trunk a crack. He fishes among the contents, his arm inside up to his shoulder. Something snaps. He grins, then pulls out his hand, and his fingers are crushed in a rusty, ferocious-looking bear trap.
Cool!
Wednesday alone stands apart in her mournful passion. She's instinctively suspicious of this new Fester.
Nobody gets out of the Bermuda Triangle, not even for vacation. Everyone knows that.
Oh, my little one. There is so much you do not understand. The human spirit, it is a hard thing to kill. Even with a chainsaw.
Abigail pinches Wednesday's cheek hard. Wednesday continues to stare at Fester. Cut to interior Fester's room later. Morticia has shown Fester to his room. As she speaks, the camera lingers on the following photographs atop the bureau. A picture of Fester and Gomez as young boys, each in a doggy carrying cage, being held by their father. Father stands beside a crude wooden sign with a Camp Custer branded into it. Gomez and Fester as boys, proudly sitting on the lap of a bound and gagged Santa Claus. Morticia begins to open Fester's trunk and go through it.
Unpacking, you must be exhausted. Let me.
No, that's all right. You don't have to.
Morticia begins removing Fester's burglary equipment from the trunk.
Crowbar, dynamite, cyanide. Fester, as if we'd run out. Good night.
She exits. Fester examines 2 photographs in the hand-tooled leather frame on the bureau. Imprinted below the face of the beautiful girl on the left is the name Flora. Below the beautiful girl on the right is Fauna. It's clear that they are identical twins. The clock on the hall strikes midnight. It's time to go to work. He opens the door to his room and peeks out. He sees Wednesday in her doorway across the hallway, staring back at him. He whips back into his room.
Nosy little brat.
Frustrated, he looks out again. Wednesday's door is shut. He looks both ways. Cut to interior attic a few minutes later. The trapdoor rises in the attic floor and Fester's head appears. Fester climbs into the attic. As he does, the camera pans around the room, taking in the piles of odd objects and memorabilia. Fester approaches a set of glass cases. Angle on the first case. The case contains a set of mounted butterflies, pinned in place. Angle on the second larger case. This case here is several stuffed vampire bats. Angle on the third, still larger case. This case is about 3 feet high and fairly wide. It's empty.
It's reserved.
The camera pulls back and Wednesday stands near the trapdoor, staring at Fester, who stands by the empty case. Fester is startled, but tries to act calm.
It's reserved for what?
For Skipper.
For Skipper? Is he a dog?
No, Skipper isn't a dog. That would be cruel.
Of course not. I'm sorry.
He's a bully.
Fester stares at Wednesday and he backs away from her. Cut to Fester's room a few minutes later. Fester runs back into his room and shuts the door. Wednesday has obviously unnerved him. He sits on the edge of the bed. A cloud of dust billows around him. Yawning, he lies down, sinking into the mattress so deeply he's almost buried alive. Getting comfortable, he burrows deeper. Close up on Fester's eyes. Who knows what terrors they've seen? But now they lose their coldness, getting dreamy. Then he hears the creak of his door opening.
Who's there?
He sees a shadow thrown on the wall, a sinister hand with wriggling fingers. Fester goes for the knife he keeps at his boot, which is next to the bed on the floor. The door slams, veins in his forehead bulge. The window explodes open. The wet wind snuffs the candelabra light. There's only the sound of Fester's animal panting. Then lightning illuminates a hand gripping the bedspread. There's a vague flickering from one of the candles. Fester seizes it and nurses the flame, using it to relight the rest of the candles. As the room fills with candlelight, Fester sees Thing sitting on one of his legs. Fester jumps with fear. Pushing against the backboard, he shakes his leg, violently throwing Thing off. He screams. Cut to interior Morticia and Gomez's bedroom. Gomez and Morticia snuggle in bed in the afterglow of their celebration, her head resting dreamily on his shoulder, Gomez enjoying a post-coital cigar. Fester's scream is heard distinctly from down the hall.
My own dear brother, I've got goosebumps.
I know.
Screams in the night. It can only mean one thing.
They wait, listening. Fester screams again.
He's home.
They gaze together out into the torrential downpour as Fester continues to scream, and they both smile. Cut to Fester's room. Morning. Obviously moved, Gomez stands in Fester's room, watching him sleep. Thing snoozes on Fester's chest like a kitty cat. Gomez gently lifts him and tucks him into the pocket of his smoking jacket. Instantly awake, certain that Gomez is about to attack him, Fester leaps from the bed, jumps Gomez, and pins him to the floor. Pulling the knife from his boot, he presses the blade against his throat.
Breakfast?
Gomez judo flips Fester off his chest and then springs to his feet.
Damn, it's good to have you back. Let's go.
He leads the way out, pauses, and turns.
2 out of 3?
Interior the Addams kitchen later. The family eats breakfast in the subterranean kitchen. Only Pugsley is missing. The wall sweat and smoke. The wall sweat and smoke crawls along the floor. Granny works at a stove that's coal-burning a monstrosity. Flames belch out of the oven. The top is a gigantic grill where innards and various unidentifiable somethings sizzle. Throughout, Granny flips these offals into family members' plates. Lurch assists her. Morticia has seated Fester between Gomez and herself. She's given him an elaborate pewter place setting with a dragon motif, obviously saved for honored guest.
May I have the salt
What do we say?
now?
Morticia smiles approvingly and passes Wednesday the salt.
What is this?
Mom's speciality de la maison.
Start with the eyes.
Sleep well.
Like the dead.
Really? Who knew the Bermuda Triangle could change a man so much? You used to toss and turn all night. We had to chain you to the bedpost.
Doesn't make sense.
Fester had no idea a simple exchange could be so fraught with pitfalls. He already feels cornered.
The Bermuda Triangle is such a large and mysterious place. You'd be surprised at all the things you don't know.
She certainly would. Wednesday adores the Bermuda Triangle. She studies it. Death at sea, she's hooked.
Ask me anything.
Fester turns his back on Wednesday and addresses Gomez.
Being in my old room sure brings back memories. Remember Camp Custer?
For preteen offenders?
And I was thinking about Christmas,
Waiting for Santa to come down the chimney.
hanging our stockings.
Building a fire.
Gomez and Fester laugh mischievously.
Oh, aren't memories precious? I'd like to spend today wandering through the house remembering.
No. Sorry, old man. No wandering today. Today, we're going straight to the vault.
Pugsley runs into the room, dragging a freshly stolen stop sign still on its pole. Gomez holds up a finger, shushing everyone. Just then, the off-screen screeching sound of cars heading for a collision is heard. Finally, the cars collide, and there is a satisfying crunch of metal. Everyone beams.
Who wants seconds?
Something in Granny's soup tureen yelps. Granny, keeping her eye on Fester, jabs her ladle in the tureen.
Don't be shy.
Cut to interior den later. Gomez and Fester are in front of the bookcase. That's the entrance to the vault. Gomez reaches for a book. Fester is right there with him, his hand on Gomez's hand as he goes to pull out the old volume. Fester reads the title.
Greed.
They share a smile. The bookcase swings open and Fester eagerly follows Gomez inside. Cut to interior the secret chamber. Moments later. Gomez runs gleefully down a flight of steps.
I feel like we're children again.
Gomez reaches a small circular room. Gomez looks up. Over his head hangs hundreds of rusty chains. Gomez grabs one of the chains, and as he does so, he punches Fester on the shoulder.
Tag, you're it.
Gomez pulls the chain, and he and Fester drop out of view through a trapdoor. Beneath the secret chamber, seconds later, Gomez and Fester are sliding down a twisting slide. Gomez is gleeful and Fester is petrified. Cut to underground river. The slide deposits Gomez and Fester on a dock leading to the underground river. Gomez is all high spirits while Fester is wobbly.
Smell that air, Fester.
Fester inhales dutifully and gags.
Like a tomb.
Gomez strides to the end of the dock. Waiting there is a Venetian gondola. Run down, but still magnificent. Gomez does a running leap to board the gondola. He puts on a straw gondolier's hat and calls out to Fester.
Tutti a bordo, fratello mio. The sea, your second home.
Fester boards the gondola gingerly, looking queasy.
Ship ahoy.
Gomez winds an old Victrola as he sorts through a pile of 78. He puts the needle down on the record and begins to sing along in a bellowing basso profundo. He sets sail, pulling down the underground river. Cut to attic, same time. Wednesday and Pugsley are exploring the attic, investigating various items.
Do you think that's really Uncle Fester?
Father says so, but I think Mother isn't sure.
Wednesday stands in front of an electric chair.
Pugsley, sit in the chair
Why?
so we can play a game.
What game?
It's called Is There a God?
Ominous. Cut to interior entrance to the vault. Same time. Still singing, Gomez pulls toward the massive metal door, 6 feet across and 10 feet high. Where does all this fit on the ground? Set right to the rock of the grotto, Gomez docks at the narrow ledge in front of the door. Gomez leaps onto the ledge and Fester follows. He's getting excited now, wondering what treasures exist beyond this door.
The vault!
Gomez goes to work on the oversized combination lock.
2 to the right, 10 to the left, and then around to
5?
11. 2, 10, 11. Eyes, fingers, toes.
Fester licks his lips in anticipation.
So many years.
Long, barren years.
Years that we wasted.
Years we'll bring back.
We entered together, a triumphant return.
We enter as brothers. We enter.
As one.
Gomez slowly opens the door, revealing interior vault. Rather than a treasure trove, it looks like a decrepit 19th century men's club. Torn red leather chairs and settees, an assortment of torture devices and hunting trophies, an elaborate bar with a cracked mirror.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
Our secret place, Sanctus Sanctorum. If these walls could talk, eh, old man?
What would they say?
You tell me,
You go first.
Senor partner.
Junior spaceman.
First, the brandy. Do the honors. I've got a real treat in store.
Well, where is it, you ridiculous imbecile?
There are half dozen excellent brandies on the wall, stocked shelf. Fester pockets a silver jigger, then chooses a bottle, and the bar spins around with Fester, revealing the interior treasure room. A stone cavern stacked high with Addams' treasure. Gold, jewels, bizarre but priceless statuary from around the world. Fester gets one slack-jawed glimpse of the bar as the bar spins around again, depositing him back into the outer room. Gomez has been too busy digging through the box to have noticed Fester's carousel ride. He turns, his arms overflowing with film cans.
Showtime.
And with shaking hands, Fester pours himself a stiff drink and replaces the bottle on the shelf. Cut to the attic. Wednesday is strapping Pugsley's arms and legs into the electric chair.
But if he's not Uncle Fester, then who is he?
Somebody else?
Wednesday pushes a button and the lights on the chair go on. The entire mechanism hums and vibrates.
It has to warm up
Why?
so it can kill you.
I knew that.
Cut to interior outer treasure room. Gomez is running home movies. He and Fester sit in side-by-side armchairs with the stuffing coming out. They smoke cigars and drink brandy from extra large snifters. On the home movie screen, the young Gomez and Fester, shark fins strapped to their backs, sneak around a corner towards a swimming pool crowded with kids. The film then jump cuts to young Gomez has buried young Fester in the sand at the beach. Only Fester's head appears from beneath a mound. A few yards away, a single hand struggles out of the sand, clearly another person. The film jump cuts to A handheld 16mm camera weaves its way through a group of ballgoers, finally focusing on a head and shoulders shot of Gomez and Fester, now in their teens. The Atom boys look both sinister and dashing in their tuxedos, and Gomez is already smoking his trademark cigar.
Yeah, the debutante ball. Remember that fateful night.
Of course, your first cigar.
What? Come, old man. I've smoked since I was 5. Mother insisted.
On the screen, the boys flank their dates, the twins from the pictures on Fester's bureau, beautiful redheads with dementia in their eyes. Throughout, the twins are seen only from the waist up.
Ah, flora and fauna. Quite the pair, eh, Gomez?
Gomez sighs and then becomes extremely dramatic.
Can you ever forgive me?
What?
I didn't love them, yet I wooed them, both, out of foolish pride. You were so dashing, you could have any woman you wanted, dead or alive. I was jealous, insanely jealous. I admit that now. But I never meant to drive you off, not to the Bermuda Triangle.
Water under the bridge. Forgiven, forgotten.
Gomez holds out his arms. Fester endures the hug. Gomez turns the hug into a painful headlock, and Fester gasps for breath.
Say it. Say the password. Come on, stop fooling. You remember.
Please, I'm choking, please.
Gomez, perplexed, releases Fester.
You forgot our secret password. The word we use 100 times a day. Our special private name for each other.
A long time ago, we were children. You almost killed me, you demented freak.
Did you say demented freak?
Fester has accidentally hit on the password, and Gomez lights up and flings open his arms.
Demented freak.
Cut to the attic. The electric chair is really humming. Pugsley now has the chair's helmet on as well, and Wednesday is about to throw the huge master switch.
But why would Dr. Pindersloss tell a lie?
Because she wants something. Do you have a last request?
Can I have ice cream?
No.
Just do it.
As Wednesday is about to throw the switch, Morticia's head appears from the trapdoor.
Children, what are you doing?
Morticia climbs up into the attic.
I'm going to electrocute him.
But we're late for the charity auction.
Mother.
Morticia pretends to be stern.
I said no.
Please?
Oh, all right.
Smiles and flips the switch. Angle on Wednesday's face as we hear the sound of high voltage sizzling Pugsley. Wednesday is very solemn, her usual impassive self, then a smile breaks through. Cut to interior Bayshore's Women's Club later. Close up on the finger trap, jewels glittering. Then Margaret Alfred, who blushes, standing in the auction block as if she wore the item up for auction. She holds her hands aloft, fingers still ensnared in the ancient finger trap. She wears the same disheveled dress, unable to disguise its sleeped-in look. On the stage beside her, the judge acts as the event's auctioneer. He reads into the mic from the catalog.
Encrusted with rubies and 15 emerald chips, it was donated by Morticia and Gomez Addams.
Gomez and Morticia sit with their family. They look around modestly. Reaction shots of various people in the crowd staring at the Addams family in horror and disbelief.
Remember, the money we raise goes to help those less fortunate this year. Over half our proceeds will benefit the elderly and the mentally disabled.
All the Addamses look at Granny proudly. She beams.
I opened the bidding at $5,000.
Bah, not enough.
He thrusts up his arm.
20,000.
For the elderly and the insane. They've earned it.
Judge Womack is surprised at the bid. Next to him, Margaret looks confused.
What are they doing? It's theirs.
Judge Womack gives her a look that says, "Shut up." Angle on Pugsley Engel and Pugsley. He has a pea shooter in his mouth, aimed at Judge Womack. Wednesday glares at her brother. He holds out her hand. He sheepishly passes her the pea shooter.
I have 20.
25. Caramia.
Fester takes Morticia's opera glasses and peers appraisingly at the glittering finger trap. And he
25,
smiles
20.
greedily.
I was like, 25, 25.
Morticia bashfully raises her hand.
30. Mon sauvage.
Margaret pesters the judge.
What are they doing?
The judge shushes her. Engel on Wednesday. She now has the pea shooter in her mouth, aimed at Judge Womack. Granny gives her a stern look. Wednesday sheepishly hands Granny the pea shooter. Gomez raises his hand.
35. Eris Divina.
Margaret is increasingly agitated.
But I don't understand.
Morticia raises her hand.
50.
Morticia has raised her arm. She lowers it, but keeps it extended for Gomez to kiss. He does so passionately. The flabbergasted Judge Womack repeats breathlessly.
I have $50,000.
Your turn, my ecstasy.
It's yours, amor mio.
You spoil me, mon amour.
Gomez utters a little cry of wild passion. Judge hammers his gavel as Margaret's jaw drops.
Clink, clink. Sold to Morticia Addams for $50,000.
The judge shakes his head in disgust, and as he does so, a projectile hits his neck. He yelps and grabs his neck. Angle on Granny with the pea shooter in her mouth. She has clearly just scored the hit on Judge Womack. She and the children share a conspiratorial smile. Cut to interior Duesenberg desk. Close up on the finger trap, the jewels glinting in the passing lights. Fester has his fingers trapped in it. He stares at it, almost as if he were hypnotized. Morticia beside him admires it also.
Isn't it enchanting?
Fester pulls his fingers, trying to free them.
How do you take it off?
Morticia releases it for him.
There's a trick to it, of course.
Gomez shares a look with Wednesday and then leans forward from his place on the other side of Morticia and, eyebrows knitted, frowns at Fester. Cut to exterior Addams mansion night. Several windows are lit. Interior Duesenberg dusk. Close up on the finger trap, the jewels glinting in the passing lights. Fester has his fingers trapped in it. He stares at it almost as if hypnotized.
Sorry. Gomez, you shouldn't have. But the finger trap?
It's for charity, and it belongs in the family.
Fester pulls his fingers, trying to free them.
Seriously, how do you take it off?
Morticia releases it for him.
Didn't we already cover this? There's a trick to it, of course.
Yeah, I think it's extended. Gomez shares a look with Wednesday, then leans forward from his place on the other side of Morticia, eyebrows knitted, frowns at Fester. Interior dining room later. Gomez's elaborate model train layout fills the room. The Lionel train races through the remains of strip-mined mountain terrace. Thing gallops into view around one of the mountains, then paces back and forth in front of Gomez's transformers.
How do you take it off? That's absurd. That finger trap was a party favor at his 10th birthday.
Gomez demonically starts his second train, setting it on a sure collision course with the first. Cut to Fester's room at bedtime. Preparing to go to the vault, Fester, with cool professionalism, slips his safe-cracking tools into the bandoliers strapped across his chest. He reaches into the drawer for the nitroglycerin and comes up with a photo of young Fester and Gomez being brought home from Camp Custer by the UPS man. He stares at the picture and tosses it aside as if touching it burned him. He picks up the nitro and proceeds with his preparations. Cut to the dining room. Puffing black smoke, the model trains race towards one another, towards the inevitable. His emotions churning like the locomotive wheels, Gomez rants to Thing.
You wore that finger trap for 2 years. Mother had to teach him how to eat with his feet. And the combination, the password, and my cigar. And he slept so well.
Thing paces furiously. Cut to the kitchen. Granny sits at the kitchen table reading cookbooks. There's a stack of books on the table. 2 books are propped up. Granny reads from the first book, and we see the title, The Joy of Cooking. She turns to the second book, we see the title, Gray's Anatomy. The sounds of Gomez's trains have begun to resound throughout the house. As Granny reads, the train whistle pierces the night and the kitchen table shakes. Granny looks up from her reading. Cut to interior Pugsley's room. Morticia is seated on the bed. She has family photo album on her lap. Wednesday and Pugsley in pajamas sit beside her, looking at the album.
Is that father when he was little?
Yes. And that's Uncle Fester.
Where are they?
At a birthday party. See the fire trucks?
From Gomez's train room, we hear a voice howl, "All aboard!" followed by another whistle blast.
Oh no.
Father's playing with his trains.
He must be upset.
It's always a bad sign. Hobbies.
Cut to interior Addams' library. Grimly determined, Fester removes the well-worn copy of Greed from the shelf and the secret panel opens. He's headed for the vault. Cut to dining room, same time. The model trains whistle at full blast, shrieking and warning as they round Dead Man's Curve, heading for each other. From inside one of the trains, a little passenger looks out. He passes Gomez, still raging, almost to the boiling point.
These thoughts. I'm in torment. What is truth? What is fiction?
Thing pounds on the table in frustration. Cut to interior Lurch's bedroom. Lurch is sitting up in his too small bed wearing his nightshirt and cap. He's sewing a button on his shirt, a gentle giant. The chug of the trains now shakes the entire house. Lurch's needle slips from the noise and he pricks his finger. He sucks on his finger, looking troubled. Cut to the secret chamber. Fester is at the interior wall. He pushes against it, seeing if it will make it turn. Then he remembers and looks above that there hang countless chains, each with a rusted metal grip on the end. Which chain to pull? From far above in the house, Fester hears the distant train whistle. He randomly yanks one of the chains. The chain yanks back, pulling Fester straight upwards. With a screech of pulleys and gears, the chain rockets him, hanging on for dear life towards a narrow gap in what may or may not be a ceiling. Fester disappears into the gap. Cut to Pugsley's room. Morticia and the children are listening to the sounds of the trains, now a chugging, whistling cacophony.
He's using the diesel.
Shrill blast is heard.
The covered bridge.
Another blast.
Dead Man's Curve.
I know what he's worried about.
Oh, so do I, darling. But let's get to bed. Now, have you brushed your teeth and washed behind your ears?
I did. I'm sorry.
Another blast.
Is that man really Uncle Fester?
Uncle Fester whooshes through the floor-to-ceiling piranha tank. Only Morticia sees this. In the dining room at the same time, the train crash is imminent.
Spirits above me, give me a sign. Shall I be joyous or shall I be damned?
The trains collide. Metal rends, smoke and flames. Cut to exterior yard, middle of the night. A coal chute is set in the side of the house, drops open, depositing the soaked, disoriented Fester. At the feet of Morticia, silhouetted by the full moon, she stands regally above him, waiting for him, her velvet cloak covering her night clothes.
Sleepless night? Walk with me, Fester.
She turns and glides away. Fester has no choice but to follow. Cut to exterior back of the house, the cemetery, middle of the night. Morticia leads Fester into the chill of the cemetery. They follow a path that winds among the elaborate tombstones of the Addams dead. Gomez's golf balls are everywhere, on the ground, in statues, upturned hands, in their open mouths. As they pass them, Morticia points out various monuments. The marble statues look so real they could be alive.
And La Borgia, executed by a firing squad. Oh, Cousin Fledge, torn limb from limb by 4 wild horses. Oh, darling Uncle Eimar.
Uncle Eimer is a hooded executioner with an upraised axe. There is an unearthly moan seeming to come from the tomb.
Buried alive. Psychopaths and fiends, mad dog killers. Roots Fester. Pioneers. lest we forget.
Among the statuary is a marble vulture, posed with the dignity of an eagle on a flagpole, but the flagpole is actually a replica of Fester's bald eagle.
Your beloved Muerto. After you left, he was simply a different vulture. He wouldn't circle, he wouldn't peck. That's how much you mean to this family.
They reach the mausoleum where Mother and Father Addams lie. It stands on a knoll, the highest point in the cemetery. Poison ivy covers the dilapidated Greco-Roman tomb. Mother and Father Addams have been depicted as god and goddess, charioteers driving their steeds to the netherworld. Father Addams smokes the ubiquitous Addams cigar. Morticia gazes up at the likeness of Mother and Father Addams, but Fester averts his eyes. The faces seem to be staring directly at him.
Mother and Father Addams. Oh, imagine what we owe them. Oh, Fester, how I wish the children could have known them better. But to tell that to an angry mob.
She turns to trace the family crest carved into the mausoleum. The top of the crest is a vulture. The background is composed of 3 lions' heads. In one panel, a huntsman holds up the lion's head. Another panel, the lion has swallowed him up to his torso. And in the last panel, the lion has swallowed the huntsman completely, but for one dangling foot. On a banner at the bottom of the family is the family motto in Latin.
3 lions rampant, the vulture ascendant, and our credo, sic gorgiamus allos subjectados nunc. We gladly feast on those who would subdue us. Not pretty words. As an Addams, you understand completely, don't you?
She stares levelly at him.
As an Addams, yes, I do.
Good night, Fester.
She heads towards the house and she turns.
Rest in peace.
Cut to interior hallway early morning. Fester's on the phone, hunched over, his eyes darting to make sure no one overhears.
They're on to me, Mother. I'm almost sure. Of course, I've tried. I still can't find it. You've got to get over here.
Wednesday is bound and gagged in a chair in the background. Pugsley runs up to Fester with 2 bottles of poison. Fester, vaguely impatient, points to one. Pugsley nods and runs off.
Don't say that. You know that I do.
Cut to interior Addams' kitchen a few minutes later. Granny and Lurch are doing the dishes. Granny rinses and Lurch dries. Lurch then hands each dish to Thing, who stacks them. Morticia sits at the kitchen table sipping a cup of tea. Wednesday stands before Morticia holding up a large, nasty-looking carving knife.
Is that for your brother?
Wednesday nods.
I don't think so.
Morticia hands Wednesday a much larger, even nastier-looking knife, and Wednesday takes the knife and exits.
His trains are everywhere. The children are beside themselves. This can't go on. How can I help him? Tell me, Mama.
Well, let's look it up.
Granny wipes her hands and opens a large, ragged, leather-bound book. She starts thumbing through the pages.
Troubled husbands, adultery,
No.
a financial, money troubles,
No.
turned into a toad or reptile.
Is there an index?
Here it is. Suspicion and anxiety in husbands.
What does it say?
Drain all his blood. Replace it with vinegar overnight. Leave a headless rooster beneath his pillow. Smear his forehead, palms, and feet with the tears of a stillborn monkey. And milk.
I can't do that. That's barbaric. Really, Mama, I'm surprised at you. Milk?
Lurch growls in agreement. Cut to interior Uncle Fester's bedroom. Fester is sitting on the bed, kneading his hands, very upset. Abigail is calmly inspecting the room, studying various objects with disdain.
They know I'm a fraud. The whole bunch, it's not going to work.
Who knows? Gomez, that overheated moron?
He's no moron. He's Fester's brother. They had some awful fight years ago. He's suspicious. They all are. I can tell.
Really? Well, thank God I came over. I can counsel the troubled family, ease their distress. It's my calling, remember, Gordon?
What?
I'm a doctor.
Cut to interior Adams' drawing room a few minutes later. Gomez and Morticia sit with Abigail.
Dr. Penderschloss is here to help. Should Gomez speak with Fester? He's right outside the door.
I would speak with Vester.
Gomez gets up and stalks towards the door, talking louder and louder.
If that were Fester, but that's not. That's an imposter. An impostor.
Outside the door, Fester hears and storms off. Upstairs hallway, Fester is marching towards his room when he hears,
Oh, villain, villain, smiling, damned villain.
Who calls me a villain, breaks my paid across, plucks off my beard, and blows it in my face?
If I must strike you dead, I will.
Fester gets a genuine gleam in his eye.
Bloodshed!
He hurries back to the top of the staircase and looks down to the front hall where, swords drawn, dueling, Wednesday packs Pugsley in. Pugsley and Wednesday thrust and parry, hack and slice. Pugsley runs Wednesday through. She staggers, then falls dead.
No, no, give me that sword.
Pugsley hands him the sword.
Haven't you ever slaughtered anyone?
He's only a child.
No excuse. Aim for a major artery, the jugular.
That's what I said.
Cut to the drawing room. Gomez is still raving.
A faker, a phony, an utter fraud, a base, deceitful.
Mr. Adam, I believe I am understanding. I will help. This. The theory of displacement is this familiar?
No, Tish.
Shakes her head.
It is too exciting. I will explain.
Is it unpleasant?
Deeply.
Gomez sits beside Morticia and he takes her hand. They're both fascinated.
Your very own brother. You drive him away. Go off you go. But then you are freeing the little monster.
Pugsley?
Guilt, yes. Your brother returns, you feel guilty, you displace.
I do.
Of course.
The feelings in your brain cells, they bubble, then they collide. You suspect things. You love him, but you resent him. Love, hate, hate, love. Like for Mama, no?
But I didn't hate my mother. It was an accident.
It is very common psychosis. I am seeing it every day.
Lucky doctor.
Displacement. How bizarre. And here I imagine Fester was the problem. He's sullen.
He's furtive.
He's backstabbing.
Dogs.
I suspect him.
You're imbalanced.
And I hate him.
But that's love.
My God, you're right. He is Fester.
Gomez is suddenly jubilant again.
Thank you, Dr. Penderschloss.
I do what I can.
Cut to interior Wednesday's room. Fester is seated in a leather couch. Pugsley and Wednesday are snuggled up on either side. They're all looking at an enormous ancient book which Fester holds open in his lap. Close up on the book's cover, the title reads Wounds, Scars, and Gouges.
You see, children, there's a lot to learn. Gangrene.
Uncle Fester, how do you know so much?
I've been around. I pick things up.
In the Bermuda Triangle.
Look, children, a new chapter.
Oh boy!
Scabs.
Yes.
Cut to an explosion fills the screen as dirt and debris go flying. As the smoke clears, angle on Fester, crouched over a detonator. He has clearly just caused the explosion. Wednesday and Pugsley stand or crouch beside him.
3 parts dynamite with a nitroglycerin cap. It's perfect for small homes, carports, and tool sheds.
What about picnics?
Fester smiles approvingly. He reaches into a crate and holds up a hand grenade. The children's eyes sparkle as if it were Christmas Day. Angle on the window of Fester's room, high above Fester and the children, Abigail stands at the window looking out. She is not pleased. Interior Fester's room a few minutes later.
Everyone will be at the children's play tonight, correct?
Oh, yes, I've been working with them. It's going to be fun.
Fun? Fun? Is that what we're here for? For fun?
She slaps Fester. Then she immediately grabs him and hugs him.
Oh, darling, I'm so sorry. You see what they've driven me to? I've raised a hand to my child, my reason to live. You can't go to the play.
But the kids.
The house will be deserted. The vault will be ours.
But
Abigail hugs Fester's head to her bosom.
Can you hear it? My treasure. My heartbeat. It beats only for you. Listen closely. It says, Gordon, I love you. Gordon, the vault.
I do hear it.
Soon we'll have the money, and we'll be far from here. Loving mother, grateful son. This is no time for the theater. Understood?
Cut to exterior roof, evening. Fester stands alone on the roof looking out over the cemetery, brooding.
There you are at last.
Gomez joins Fester at the railing.
What a fool I was to doubt you. Dr. Pinderschloss explained everything. What a lovely woman. So, chilly. Displacement is a common psychosis, isn't it grand?
Is it?
Gomez slaps an arm around it.
Look at it, Fester.
Beaming, Gomez gazes down to the cemetery. It's morbid and magnificent in the moonlight. The swamp bubbles, patches of fog crawl. Unidentified beasties gamble.
The primeval ooze, quicksand, fumes, toxic waste. It's all ours, Fester. You belong here, old man.
You don't know what you're asking. You have a beautiful wife, wonderful kids. A wasteland. I'm in the way.
In the way, a brother.
Gomez, take care. For you, life is all fun and games. A dance in a graveyard, stenchy decay, but things change.
Precisely, you're back. Those years apart, Fester. We can't do that again. You're home.
Gomez holds out his hand. Bing is there with a golf club. Gomez passes the club to Fester. Bing supplies Gomez with another club. The two men hit golf balls off the roof and over the cemetery into the darkness. In the distance, off screen, we hear the sound of windows breaking.
4.
Cut to interior Fester's room later. Fester sits on the edge of his bed, brooding. Wednesday and Pugsley appear in the doorway.
Come on, Uncle Fester. Come to the play.
I said I was busy.
But you said you'd help us with the Shakespeare and the pus.
I changed my mind.
Cut to exterior school, night. Duesenberg pulls up in front of the school building. Bystanders eye the strange and wondrous automobile. Lurch steps out of the car and opens the rear door with great ceremony. As the bystanders gape, the Addams family steps out of the car as if attending the Academy Awards. Cut to interior school auditorium lobby. The lobby is crowded with families of students. As the Addamses enter, a young woman, Susan Firkins, approaches Morticia. Susan is Wednesday's teacher. She's wholesome, frazzled, and a little too eager.
Mrs. Addams,
Yes.
could I see you for a moment? I'm Susan Firkins, Wednesday's teacher.
Oh, of course, Mrs. Firkins. Wednesday's told us so much about you. Have you ever heard from your husband?
Cut to Fester's room. At his desk now, Fester works with great concentration. He appears to be building a bomb. He looks at the clock and hurries. Cut to school auditorium a minute later. Susan is showing Morticia a bulletin board hanging on one side of the lobby.
Wednesday is an excellent student, but frankly, I'm concerned. This is our class bulletin board. This month, our theme is our heroes, people that we love and admire. You see, Susan Ringo has chosen the president. Isn't that sweet? And Harmony Feld has picked Diane Sawyer.
Have you spoken to her parents?
But Wednesday brought in this picture, Calpurnia Addams.
Oh, Wednesday's great aunt Calpurnia. She was buried as a witch in 1706. They say she danced naked in the town square and enslaved a minister.
Really?
Oh, yes, but don't worry, we've told Wednesday. College first.
Angle on Susan with her mouth hanging open. Cut to school auditorium. Tully and Margaret are chatting with the Addamses. The Alfred son, Tully Jr., is wearing a felt elf costume.
Isn't he adorable? I made this myself.
It's charming. What is he? A lizard?
An elf. Look at you. Oh, that's better. You're just too precious for words. Why, I could just eat you alive.
No, Margaret. Too young.
So Gomez, where's Festa this evening?
Moody as usual. We're all out on a jaunt, and he's home alone in that big empty house.
What a shame.
Granny and Lurch appear, hawking another of Granny's delicacies.
Toad on a stick. Get your red hot toad on a stick. Can't enjoy the show without your toad on a stick.
Interior Fester's room. At his desk now, Fester works with great concentration and appears to be building a bomb. He looks at the clock. Cut to school auditorium. Gomez attempts to schmooze Judge Womack.
I was hoping you'd come over and play a round of golf. Not to brag, but I've got a beautiful little 9-hole pitch and putt set up in my cemetery.
I'd rather rot in hell.
Ah, a previous engagement.
He tucks one of his cigars in Judge Womack's breast pocket and heads off to join his family. Cut to interior variety show stage. Later, a half-dozen adorable 7-year-olds are on stage singing We Are the World. They finish to the enthusiastic applaud of the auditorium full of parents. Morticia and Gomez politely join in while Lurch fidgets and Granny slumps, bored in her chair.
The children are next.
Lurch stops fidgeting and Granny sits up straight. Cut to backstage. Sitting in the makeup mirror, Wednesday and Pugsley are putting on their armor. Fester is suddenly behind them, reflected in the mirror.
I changed my mind.
He thrusts a package towards them. Cut to exterior Addams' house. Abigail is hammering on the door with a knocker.
Gordon, it's Mother. Damn it, where are you? I should never have used them.
She clomps down the porch steps and heads around the side of the house, peering in windows. Cut to interior auditorium. Pushing people aside, Fester forces his way to his family, where his family is seated. They're happy to see him.
I knew you couldn't stay away, old man.
Cut to exterior Addams' mansion. Standing on tiptoes, Virginia tries yet another window. At her ankles, vines snake out from the window well. They wrap firmly around her ankles. She gapes down at them and screams. There's no one to hear her and no escape. The vines go taut, preparing to pull her under. Cut to interior variety show stage a short while later. Pugsley and Wednesday in their elaborate costumes are drawing to the climax of their scene from Hamlet. As they duel, they act their little Addams heart out.
How all occasions do inform against me and spur my dull revenge. Oh, from this time forth my thoughts be bloody or be nothing worth. If I must strike you dead, I will.
Pugsley lands the first blow, slashing Wednesday's arm. Her sleeve rends and blood spurts.
A hit! A very palpable hit!
They both press the attack, drawing blood. In a fatal blow, Pugsley slashes Wednesday's jugular. She makes a horrible gurgling noise. Blood spurts and arterial squirts.
Oh, proud death! What feast is toward in thy eternal cell?
In a final vengeful moment, Wednesday hacks at Pugsley's left arm, cutting it off, sending a gusher of blood out of the stump. The arm drops to the stage and bounces off, landing in Judge Womack's lap. On stage, Wednesday clutches her bleeding throat.
Sweet oblivion, open your arms.
Wednesday falls dead. The audience sits perfectly still, jaws agape, deep in shock, an oil painting. Then, the Addams family leaps as one to their feet, applauding wildly.
Bravo!
The lights on stage come up and Pugsley and Wednesday bow deeply, accepting their family's applause. Fester applauds louder than anybody. Cut to interior Wednesday's bedroom later that night. Fester is tucking Wednesday into bed. They're now devoted friends.
There were sailors and pirates and an airplane full of tourists from Miami Beach, all lost in the triangle.
Uncle Fester, someday will you take me there?
It's a promise. Good night, Wednesday. You were terrific.
Kisses her on the forehead. She holds out her headless doll and Fester kisses the doll's empty neck. Wednesday holds out the doll's severed head. Fester kisses that too. Cut to interior cemetery. Morticia is standing in the moonlight. Gomez sits on a bench nearby.
What a sublime evening. A theatrical triumph.
A Shakespearean delight. All hail Fester.
It's like a dream. When we first met years ago, it was an evening much like this. Magic in the air. A boy.
A girl.
An open grave. It was my first funeral.
You were so beautiful, pale and mysterious. No one even looked at the corpse.
Your cousin Balthazar, you were still a suspect. Oh, I couldn't stop staring all during the eulogy. Your eyes, your mustache, your laugh.
You bewitched me. I proposed that very night.
Just think, someday we'll be buried here side by side, 6 feet under, in matching coffins. Our lifeless bodies rotting together for all eternity.
Cara mia.
Mon sauvage.
They embrace in the moonlight. As they do, the camera pans above their heads, and we see the headstone featuring Uncle Fester. Cut to interior conservatory morning. Lurch is sweeping up. Among the plants, he comes upon Abigail, tightly wrapped in a plant cocoon. Lurch growls. Cut to interior kitchen later. The cheerful Addams breakfast is underway. Fester's at the table with the family.
Did you like the blood?
Perfect. A full bucket. I was so proud.
Weren't we all? Wednesday? Play with your food.
Wednesday has something moving in her cereal bowl and she teases it with her fork. Granny screams at the sideboard.
Mama?
Granny pulls a skeleton of a shin and foot out of one of the serving dishes.
Who put this in here?
Pugsley and Fester exchange a conspiratorial glance and a giggle.
That's for the company.
Rascals.
Abigail enters, peeling off bits of the vines that had encased her.
Doctor, you were so right. What an evening.
Fester fit right in.
The displacement is over.
Well, isn't that nice?
Does he really have to go?
Yes, he does.
Well, if he insists upon leaving, we shall mark the occasion. Tish.
We've planned a farewell party.
We've invited the whole clan.
Amazed by the gesture, Fester looks over at Gomez and Morticia.
What a lovely gesture.
Bloodshed, anguish, breakfast. We're a family again. And we owe it all to you, Dr. Pinderswass.
Please. Greta.
Greta.
Fester. Walk me out.
Cut to exterior front walk a little later. Fester is escorting Abigail through the yard.
I'm fine, Mother. I'm completely in control.
They're not your family. Gordon, I am. They don't love you. I do. They're evil and corrupt and degraded. I can give you that.
I'm fine, really.
We'll see.
They reach Gate.
Open up.
Even Gate is intimidated and swings open. Cut to interior Morticia's conservatory, evening. Fester's cutting the blooms off Morticia's roses.
We're opening the ballroom now.
Fester hesitates, then follows Morticia. Cut to interior hallway outside ballroom. A short time later. Each carrying a lightened candelabra, Morticia, Gomez, Fester, Granny, Lurch, Pugsley, and Wednesday stand in front of the tall, elaborately carved oaken double doors. Gomez unlatches them, and together they push them open and step into the ballroom. Moonlight streams in through the floor-to-ceiling windows, revealing the true enormity of the ballroom. It's straight out of the Rocco Palace. A lofty, unsupported dome ceiling is decorated with figures worthy of Dante. The black marble floor glistens. The furniture and banquet tables are funerally shrouded, like some primeval. See the shrouds undulate in the breeze, admitted through the open doors. Gomez steps up to Morticia and embraces her. They begin to dance. Fester remains frozen in the center of the ballroom, overwhelmed by the grandeur.
A party for me. Here.
As Gomez and Morticia waltz past.
All for you.
Tish, how long has it been since we've waltzed?
Gomez. Hours.
He dips Morticia. As she bends back, she reaches for one of the shrouds and whips it off. It fills the screen. Black. Cut to interior ballroom. When the shroud comes down, the party is in full swing. Gomez and Morticia resplendent now in their party clothes, Morticia in a formal version of her black sheath, and Gomez in black velvet lounging pajamas, smoking jacket, and fez. A small orchestra plays a fractured waltz. Thing is a third hand on the bass. Gomez and Morticia dance among the Addams family relatives. That portrait gallery of grotesques come to life. All of them are Dexter and Donald Addams, the two-headed cousin in matching turtlenecks. Cousin Ophelia Addams, who looks like Tennessee William heroine who's just been fished out of the Mississippi. Slosh Addams, if a man could look like a toad and still be a man, this is he. He's made many a killing on Wall Street, with him as his child-sized wife, Lois. Digit Addams, all four arms embraced his date, an overaged Heidi with thick blonde braids. Cousin Lumpy Addams, a teenage humpback in a loud blazer. Dexter and Donald dance Ophelia over to Gomez and Morticia.
I wonder. Yeah, what happened? What happened to the Fester?
Still primping, I suppose.
Mind waterlogged and bleary, Ophelia addresses Morticia with a spacey Thorazine smile.
Where's Fester? Soon, Ophelia, soon. Where am I?
Cut to interior Fester's bedroom. Fester is in his robe, or his underwear. He is considering various pieces of clothing, on hangers or placed on the bed. Abigail stands nearby, her arms folded.
What would look best? A tuxedo?
A nice dark suit is perfectly acceptable.
But the whole family's coming. I want to look terrific.
Gordon, may I remind you, you're not really an Addams.
I know, but the party's for me. I love this.
Cut to exterior Addams mansion. The front door opens and Lurch appears. He's obviously been summoned. He looks out, his face lights up as he sees a new arrival. Angle on Cousin It, driving up his bubble-topped It-mobile. He parks the car and flips open the top. Cousin Id is a hairball and a Homburg who gleeps and squeaks in a language the Addams have no trouble understanding. He pauses for a moment to survey the house. Cut to interior ballroom a little later. Lurch escorts Cousin It to the ballroom. Gomez and Morticia come over to greet him.
It, old man.
Oh, you're right. Far too long.
Cousin It looks around, obviously checking out the women. He sees Margaret on the dance floor with Tully. It runs a hand through his hair, slicking it back, and then excuses himself. Margaret clings stiffly to Tully in the midst of all this Addams' weirdness.
It's the first time we've been dancing in ages. And you take me here. It's a formal occasion. Don't let me out of your sight. Don't threaten me.
There's a tap on Margaret's shoulder. She turns. Before her is Cousin It, hat in hand, eager to cut in. He takes her in his arms and spins away with her. Cut to interior Fester's bathroom. The pipes groan loudly as scalding water floods the sink. Abigail shaves the back of Fester's head with a straight razor, and the room is filled with steam.
You'll make your appearance, then slip away from the party.
How? I'm the guest of honor.
Cut to ballroom. Wednesday is dancing with Lumpy Addams, the teenage humpback, and Morticia approaches them.
Wednesday,
Yes, Mother.
could you run upstairs and check on your uncle? Thank you, dear. Why, Lumpy Addams, look at you, all grown up.
Cut to Fester's room a minute later. The door opens and Wednesday peeks inside.
Uncle Fester?
She hears the water running in Fester's bathroom and the sound of voices beneath it. Inside the bathroom, Fester turns off the water. The pipes make a final clang, and then there's silence.
Yes, Mother, I understand. I hear you.
I hope so, Gordon. I'm counting on you. Don't buckle.
That's not going to be easy. There are people everywhere.
You can do it. If you just stop whining. No one likes that. It's unattractive.
All right, fine. I'll try and reach the vault tonight, but if I can't, then that's it. Okay, Mother?
Wednesday stands frozen in the doorway.
You are a fake. I knew it.
Abigail and Fester wheel around on her. The straight razor catches the light and glints menacing.
Come here, little one. We won't hurt you.
Fester can't believe this is happening. He's genuinely torn and it shows.
Wednesday!
Abigail's facade disintegrates and she bellows.
Get her!
Abigail pushes him towards Wednesday, who, suddenly scared, takes off running. She runs through Fester's room and across interior hall into her own room. She slams her bedroom door behind her. Galvanized into action by the hold his mother still has on him, Fester kicks the door open just in time to see interior Wednesday's room. Wednesday throws open a trap door in the floor and disappears down it, pulling the door closed behind her. Fester tries to find it, but the door is seamless. He pounds the floor in frustration. Cut to exterior house. Next to the coal chute where Abigail was grabbed by the vines are two smaller chutes, one marked Pugsley and one marked Wednesday. Wednesday slides out of her chute. She takes off towards the cemetery. Exterior graveyard. Wednesday runs through the graveyard and into the darkness of the night. In the ballroom at the same time, Lurch escorts Flora and Fauna Amore, the twins from the home movies, into the ballroom. He takes their wraps, revealing what they are. In fact, a pair of Siamese twins. 25 years later, they still look quite beautiful and quite mad.
Flora and fauna, more.
Gomez approaches, shielding his eyes.
I cannot see. I'm blinded by beauty.
Hey, that's you.
Gomez Addams.
You terrible flirt.
Always was.
At least with me.
Copycat.
Tag along.
Morticia appears.
My Gomez, the Amor twins. I've heard so much about you.
Morticia, I hate you.
You nabbed him, this darling man.
He was mine.
He was mine.
Oh, Flora, Fauna, how can I compete? You're twice the woman I am.
Gomez grabs Tully, who is striding by in search of Margaret.
Holy, the Amor twins. They're waiting for Fester. Amuse them.
Hello, Tully.
I saw him first.
Ignore her.
She's nothing.
Bon chance.
The girls now have their forearms all over Tully, leading him onto the dance floor.
Oh my god.
Cut to Fester's bedroom. Abigail is in the room alone. At that moment, Fester comes climbing back through the open window.
I couldn't find her anywhere. Let's just leave out the back.
Pull yourself together. She will turn up, the little cockroach. Now get to the party, or they'll suspect something. I'll be down soon. Ja.
Cut to the kitchen. Same time. Morticia watches as Granny garnishes a roast pig set on a silver tray. It's beautifully glazed, deliciously plump, and has an apple in its mouth.
Mama, you've outdone yourself.
Granny turns the roast pig slightly to arrange the garnish and reveals its second head. This one, too, has an apple in its mouth.
Hey, it's a party.
Satisfied, she covers it with a lid. Lurch then lifts the tray onto a serving cart and rolls the cart out. Cut to the ballroom. Flora and Fauna, now on the dance floor with Tully, chatter giddily as he tries to maneuver them through a box step. You can't imagine how surprised we were when Gomez called and told us Fester was back.
Especially considering
Fauna.
Especially considering what?
It makes no difference now. It's obvious that Fester and Gomez are devoted.
Why wouldn't they be devoted?
well, now that Fester's back, he's the king of the castle again, isn't he?
Fester's the older brother, so he gets it all. The house, the money, you name it.
I'd like to.
Gomez be damned.
Fester's still single, isn't he?
Are you Mr. Alhorn?
Why, Fauna?
I'm Fauna.
I'm Flora.
I'm flattered. Excuse me, ladies.
Tully winks at Flora and blows a kiss to Fauna. They giggle madly, and Tully hurries off, grinning like the cat who swallowed the canary. Cut to the ballroom. Morticia and Fester have appeared at the door of the ballroom.
Everyone, your attention, please.
The music stops and the guests fall silent.
When he was lost, our family grieved, and how it became them. Now he is found, and our celebration begins. Our treasured guest of honor, Fester Addams.
She takes him by the hand as if to lead him toward the assembled guests, but instead abruptly spins him by the arm, sending him whirling like a top into the center of the dance floor, where he suddenly stops nose to nose with Gomez. Gomez has changed his clothes. He's dressed now like a Hollywood cousin. He carries 5 gleaming skimpters. Morticia, Granny, and all the Addams women rap out the stirring martial beat on tambourines.
The mamushka.
Gomez begins to circle around Fester. The other family members form a ring, circling counterclockwise to Gomez. Gomez then throws the scimitars straight up, high into the air, and begins juggling them. Baffled, Fester stands in the center, eye of this dizzying hurricane.
Taught to us by our Cossack cousins, the mamushka has been an Addams family tradition since God knows when.
Gomez hurls the scimitars to Fester. They begin juggling them back and forth, much to Fester's shock and surprise.
We danced the mamushka while Nero fiddled. We danced the mamushka at Waterloo. We danced the mamushka for Jack the Ripper. And now, Fester Addams, this mamushka's for you.
The juggling continues. The moves get more and more intricate. It's an elaborate, carefully choreographed routine. Fester, petrified, manages to somehow bungle his way through. They launch into a tongue-twisting patter song. Fester stumbles his way through. During an instrumental passage of the song, Gomez admires his brother.
After all this time, Fester hasn't forgotten a step, hasn't forgotten a word.
Fester stops dead.
Not a step, not a word.
Fester has missed a beat and looks up to see all 5 scimitars, dropping fast, coming straight at him. Panicking, he catches 1, 2, 3, 4. With 2 in each hand, his hands are full. What's he gonna do with the 5th one? He opens his mouth to scream and it drops straight in. He swallows it till the hilt. The Addams mob cheers lustily and launches into the finale of the song. Mamushka. Amazed, Fester drops the skimitars he's holding and pulls one from his mouth.
How did I do that?
Gomez slaps him on the back and Fester burps. The Addams cheer again. They close in on Fester. Cut to interior, a remote corner of the ballroom. Cousin It and Margaret are waltzing in an out-of-the-way nook. They are somewhat involved.
We've been married for almost 20 years. Sometimes it feels like more. Of course people grow. People change.
Cut to interior front hall a little later. Tully is heading for the front door in his coat. Abigail stops him.
Where are you going? There's trouble.
Hey, not to worry. Plan B.
But that hideous little girl.
I'm in charge. 10 minutes. I'll be back.
Tully slips out the door and Abigail turns, frustrated, throwing up her hands. Upstairs on the dance floor, the reprise of Mamushka has begun. In the rear of the hall, Cousin It passes across, leading a trembling Margaret. Cut to exterior Judge Womack's house a short while later. The judge is on this front porch with Tully, and he's apoplectic. Raucous sounds of Mamushka reverberate from the Addams mansion.
What the hell's going on over there?
How would you like to be rid of the Addamses for good? I'm serious.
What can I do for you?
Exterior Addams mansion, 2 a.m. Gomez and Morticia stand in the front steps waving goodbye to their departing guests. Cousin It leans out the window of his limousine, sharing a romantic last moment with Margaret.
You're a marvelous dancer. It's been such fun. You'll have to speak up, I can't hear you over all the hair. Going with it. I can't. We mustn't. Call me.
The limo drives off as Margaret waves a fond farewell. The limo passes and Morticia appears. She puts her arm around Margaret as it drives off.
Oh, Margaret, he's very special, isn't he?
He's perfect.
He's it.
Flora and Fauna giving goodbye kisses to Fester, covering him with lipstick. They hang on him with all 4 arms, and he is enjoying himself. You'll come see me before you leave, won't you, Fester?
I'll call once I'm alone.
An ambulance pulls up. White jacket attendants step out with straight jacket built for 2.
There's your ride. Goodbye, girls.
Interior upstairs hallway a bit later. Fester skips down the hall, still practicing bits of the Mamushka. The Amor twins' kisses still fresh on his cheeks. He opens the door and strides into his bedroom. Fester dances into the room. He grabs Abigail and starts dancing with her, swinging her around and singing bits of the Patter song.
Gordon?
Fester keeps singing and dancing.
Gordon! Stop it. This instant.
Fester lets her go.
Gordon, is that lipstick? All over your face?
From the twins, the beauteous Amor twins.
Gordon, I don't understand this. Let me get this clear. Have you been having a good time?
Yes, I have. It was marvelous. I sang up a storm and I danced till I dropped the mamushka.
He begins to dance again. Abigail, breathing fire, sits on the bed, turning away from him.
Mother?
Mother, who is that? I don't think I recall.
Mother.
I'm perfectly fine. I'm dandy. Don't concern yourself with me, Gordon. Please. Return to your depraved orgy. Sometimes I think you're not even my son.
Don't say that.
I'm just your mother. You only owe me your entire existence on this planet. Please, Gordon, by all means, go. Sing, dance, date.
Mother, I'm so terribly sorry. It was just a party. It's over. It means nothing. Those Siamese twins, that hunchback, cousin it. They're not you.
Say it, Gordon. Make me believe it.
I love you, and I want money.
We've got to find Tully.
Cut to interior ballroom. Morticia is looking for her children. She discovers Pugsley asleep, curled up on the silver platter where the two-headed pig used to be. She finds this enchanting. Gomez enters. Morticia shushes him. She points to the platter.
Look, our little boy.
All tuckered out.
So sweet. He looks just like a little entree.
Pugsley wakes up. He looks around.
Where's the party?
It's over, darling. Have you seen your sister?
Not since before the Mamushka.
Gomez?
Don't fret, we'll find her.
Cut to exterior Addams' yard later. Gomez rallies the family for the search. Morticia wears a black cloak. Granny has grabbed her divining rod. Lurch distributes torches and then stands aside awaiting instructions. Pugsley helps Gomez unroll an ancient map of the area.
Fan out. Pugsley, head for the dung heap. Mama and Morticia, the shallow graves. I'll take the abyss and Lurch. Check the bottomless pit.
Oh, her favorite.
Fester!
Up here.
They look up at Fester looking down at them from Wednesday's window.
Fester, you take the ravine and the unmarked abandoned well.
Somebody should stay behind in case she comes back.
Good man, good thinking.
And who will take the swamp?
Thing tugs at the cuff of Gomez's pants and Gomez nods.
That's the spirit thing. Lend a hand, let's go.
Lend a hand, get it. They all sweep off with Gomez in the lead. Interior Wednesday's room a short while later. Fester still at the window, Abigail joins him. Their point of view spread far and wide over the grounds. The various members of the family search for Wednesday, tiny lights aloft, calling.
Where the hell is Tully?
They head out. Cut to interior den a little later. Fester and Virginia, Abigail, Greta, whatever her name is, find Tully sitting in an armchair, basking in the rays of sunshine that beam from a copy of The Sun Also Rises. Tully smiles at them.
What are you doing?
Relaxing. Taking in a little sun.
Have you gone mad?
Au contraire.
Tully closes the book and smugly unfurls a legal document. Cut to exterior swamp, middle of the night. Thing hops lily pads, stopping occasionally to quest the air for his mistress. Cut to exterior primeval forest adjacent to the cemetery, middle of the night. Forest, a torch aloft, Pugsley searches through the forest. And cut to exterior neighborhood. Lurch picks up a car looking for Wednesday. Cut to underground grotto. Morticia and Granny stand in the middle of the dripping darkness. Stalagmites, stalactites. Granny's torch casts scary shadows on the cave walls.
Wednesday! Wednesday!
Oh, Mama, I was sure we'd find her here.
Cut to exterior cemetery, dark. Gomez reaches a stately mausoleum at the far end of the cemetery. Two proud marble vultures guard the entryway. Gomez lowers the uplifted claw of one of the vultures and the stone doors slide open. He steps into the mausoleum. Inside, it's catacomb-like, filled with the bleached bones of the Addams dead. Gomez's torch casts shadows, one of which belongs to Wednesday, curled asleep on the stone sarcophagus. Relieved to find her, he approaches quietly. He doesn't want to wake her up. He lifts her tenderly in his arms. Cut to exterior gate, darkness before dawn. Gate can't open. He rattles miserably on his hinges, locked tight with heavy chains and yellow police tape. Large "No Trespassing," "Court Order," "Addams Family Keep Out" signs are posted on Gates' rusty bars. Pull back to reveal the family appalled at the sight of Gates. Lurch carries the sleeping Wednesday and Pugsley.
What's all this?
Tully hurries down the walkway waving his legal document.
This is a restraining order, Gomez.
A restraining order?
It requires you to keep a distance of 1,000 yards from this house. You've got about 999 yards to go. Catch my drift?
I am restricted from my own house?
Not your house, mustache. Not anymore. It belongs to the eldest brother, descendants, the older of the brothers, Festa Addams.
But this is lunacy.
Fester adores Gomez.
He's afraid of him, seeing the twins brought it all back. Your bitter rivals, Gomez, always were and always will be.
It's not so. Those girls meant nothing. He knows that. I demand to see Fester.
Sorry, no can do. He's very hurt. It's not a good time. Leave it alone. Or better yet, just leave.
Wednesday comes forward, rubbing the sleep from her eyes.
But he isn't even Uncle Fester.
Gomez and Morticia turn to look at her.
Do not fear. Justice shall prevail. The courts will decide. They say a man who represents himself has a fool for a client. Well, with God as my witness, I am that fool.
Cut to interior courtroom day, close up on a gavel. It hammers on the judge's bench. Pull back to reveal Judge Womack. He's the presiding judge as he hammers the bench again and then reads his decision.
Given the applicable standards of proof, the attempts to impugn this man's character, question his identity, have been woefully inadequate. It is with no small amount of personal satisfaction that I declare Fester Addams legal executor of the Addams estate and rightful owner of all properties and possessions contained herein. Gomez Addams, I believe this is yours.
Cut to exterior Addams mansion day. Family members troop to the car with their few possessions. Gomez already sits in the passenger seat, his coat draped over his shoulders as if he were an invalid, his head thrown back. Morticia carries out Cleo her carnivorous plant, and Granny carries her favorite cauldron. Wednesday, one of her Marie Antoinette dolls, Pugsley his chemistry set. Lurch uproots his favorite tree and joins the procession. Thing follows, dragging a toy wagon packed with his rings, his glove. Cut to exterior Addams' overgrown driveway later. The Duesenberg eases out of the driveway and onto the street, weighed down by Lurch's tree sticking out of the trunk. Fester, standing in the second-story window, watches the car drive off. Cut to exterior Wampum Court later. A 2-story neon arrow points the way to his bungalow court. Bright and awful, log cabins of simulated wood around the teepee-shaped office. The Addams Duesenberg is parked in front of the furthest cabin. The asphalt has been ripped up in big chunks, and Lurch's tree is parked next to the Addams' new home. Cut to interior bungalow, close up on the dressing table mirror. Morticia leans into frame. With an ice pick and a hammer, she deftly makes a large, spidery crack in the round mirror. Sighing deeply, she stands back to admire her handiwork, and Granny joins her.
I like it.
Her mother pats her consolingly.
Just as long as we're together. Ne pas, mon cher.
As she turns to Gomez, we see the interior of the bungalow, all cowboy and Indian mixed with chrome-plated plastic and orange shag carpet. Gomez sits slumped in a chair made from a wagon wheel and naugahyde. It's as if all of his insane, vibrant energy has been leached from him. He's a broken man. He looks back at her as if he's never heard French.
Huh?
Wednesday tends to him. She and her mother exchange a worried look. Pugsley comes from the bathroom nibbling a wrapped bar of motel soap.
His place isn't so bad. They even put candy in the bathroom.
That's the soap, dear.
Oh,
He takes another greedy bite, and Wednesday pats her father's arm.
Do you want a cigar, Father?
They're very bad for you.
Father?
Wednesday exchanges a panic-stricken look with Morticia, and the family moves closer to Gomez.
But maybe I'll have one of those.
He takes the bar of soap from Pugsley, and Gomez unwraps it and morosely eats. Cut to interior Addams mansion, midway to the vault. Close up on the three hands as they reach up to pull three of the countless change. Cut to exterior Addams yard, midnight. The coal chute on the side of the house drops open, dumping out Fester, Abigail, and Tully. All of them wet and bedraggled, gasping for air.
You're doing this on purpose.
They all struggle to their feet and march grimly back towards the door. Cut to interior Wampum Court bungalow, morning. Gomez is stretched out in the naked box springs of his bed, mattress pushed aside. A damp cloth covers his eyes. Thing massages his aching head, a bowl of motel soaps beside him. In contrast, Morticia squarely faces the crisis. She addresses the family from the head of the breakfast table. The wan ads open and the table before her.
We are Addamses, and we will not submit. Who recalls the fable of the tortoise and the hare? The swift yet lazy little cottontail and his slow but determined companion. What does that story teach us, Addamses?
Kill the hare, skin it, boil it.
Put the tortoise on the highway.
during rush hour.
Yes, we will survive. Poison us, strangle us, break our bones, and we will come back for more. And why?
Because we like it.
Because we're Addamses!
Gomez tries to rouse himself. Well, he tries.
Okay. We're Addamses.
He burps, soap bubbles floating from his mouth. Cut to exterior sidewalk in front of the court. Day. Wednesday and Pugsley have set up a lemonade stand, their contribution to the Addams' financial well-being. An array of poisons are lined up in their rickety table. They've slashed their prices to a nickel per cup. The pitcher on the table before them steams. Cars speed by. Carrying a sample vacuum cleaner in a bucket, Lurch comes out of the motel courtyard. Pugsley offers him a cup of punch.
Here, Lurch. On the house. You made your cue.
Lurch downs it in the gulp and heads off. Feeling the effects of the lemonade, he burps. A tongue of flame
Burp.
shoots from his mouth and incinerates a wooden Indian advertising the court. Cut to Interior Employment Agency. Morticia is being interviewed by a personnel officer, a relentlessly perky gal with a clipboard.
So we have many homemakers re-entering the workforce. Your domestic skills can be very valuable. College?
Private tutors.
Major?
Spells and hexes.
Liberal arts. Have you been a volunteer at PTA service organizations?
Well, one day each week, I visit death row at our local prison with my children.
With your children?
Autographs.
Well, what about your husband? Is he currently employed?
He's going through a rough patch at the moment, but it's not his fault.
Of course not. What is he? A loafer, a hopeless layabout, a shiftless dreamer?
Not anymore.
Personnel officer shoots Morticia a doubtful glance and begins rifling through her card file. Cut to interior Addams' living room. Abigail and Fester are seated at opposite ends of the couch. Fester stares off into space, and Abigail is going through a stack of colorful travel brochures.
The Mediterranean, the Riviera. Once we find the money, we'll go everywhere. We'll try again right after lunch. Gordon, where should we go first?
I don't know.
Acapulco? Cancun? Arriba, arriba.
You choose.
Exterior Wampum Court later that day. Wednesday and Pugsley are at their lemonade stand. They are negotiating with a prissy little girl in a Girl Scout uniform. The Girl Scout carries several boxes of Girl Scout cookies.
Is this made from real lemons?
Yes.
I only like all natural foods and beverages organically grown with no preservatives. Are you sure they're real lemons?
Yes!
Well, I tell you what, I'll buy a cup if you buy a box of my delicious Girl Scout cookies. Do we have a deal?
Are they made from real Girl Scouts?
To exterior suburban house. White clapboard, geraniums in the flower boxes surrounded by a white picket fence. Carrying his sample vacuum cleaner and bucket, the tools of his new trade, Lurch carefully opens his little white gate. At the door, he rings the doorbell, afraid he might break something. A blonde housewife in tennis whites, obviously in a hurry, opens the door, only to be greeted by a bucket full of slop thrown past her into the peach oriental rug. She screams in horror, turns to challenge the perpetrator of the atrocity, and seeing Lurch, she screams again. In a panic, she tries to slam the door on him, but like a salesman's manual undoubtedly advised, he sticks his foot in the way. The door partially rips off his hinges. Lurch steps inside and shuts the door as best he can. A moment passes, the door swings open and Lurch exits, jauntily waving a check. Cut to interior daycare center. Morticia is telling the story to a group of toddlers who have gathered to circle around her, sitting on carpet squares. The room is sunny and cheerful with crayon drawings stuck to the walls.
And so the witch lured Hansel and Gretel to the candy house by promising them more sweets, and she told them to look in the oven, and she was about to go and push them in when, lo and behold, Hansel pushed the door to fit the poor, defenseless little witch into the oven instead, where she was burned alive, writhing in agony. Now, boys and girls, what do you think that feels like?
After a beat, all the toddlers begin to cry and wail. Cut to the bungalow. Granny holds a club behind her back as she stalks something.
Here, kitty, kitty, kitty.
Cut to interior bungalow. Eating compulsively from a box of Malamars, Gomez is still stretched out on the naked box springs. He stares vacantly in the game show on TV. Jeopardy is on.
Monsters of History for 200. He was known as the Butcher of Bavaria.
Grandfather Addams. Damn, not in the form of a question.
Cut to bungalow, exterior bungalow. Granny, running now, club raised, hurries past the open window of the bungalow. She stops at the sight of Gomez inside, standing on the bed, staring at the television. Close up on the TV, Gomez is now watching Geraldo Rivera hosting the tabloid-style show.
Do zombies the stuff of legend or a living nightmare? Do zombies really exist? How are they made? Where can we find them? Call in with your comments.
A call-in number is flashed on the screen, and Gomez reaches for the phone. Cut to interior Addams Mansion dining room. Abigail and Gordon are seated at opposite ends of the table having lunch. It's very quiet.
After lunch, we'll try again.
Yes, Mother.
We'll find the money. And meanwhile, we have this little nest. Quiet and cozy. Without that dreadful family.
Yes, Mother.
Just the two of us. Away from the world. Our dream come true.
Yes, Mother.
Akester repeats yes, mother in his drone. Abigail mimics him silently. Cut to interior bungalow an hour later. Close up on the screen, Geraldo is talking to a woman in the studio audience.
So your son was brainwashed by voodoo slave masters and forced to recruit others? Let's take a call.
Geraldo,
Mr. Adams, please stop calling. We don't know where they meet.
My favorite part. Pull back to the motel room. Gomez lets the phone drop. Morticia, seated on the edge of the box screen, tries to comfort him. Pugsley, Wednesday, and Lurch are seated nearby, very worried about Gomez at a death watch. Gomez is now surrounded by junk food and a mountain of junk food wrappers, bags, and styrofoam containers. Ritually, as handmaidens, Morticia brings Gomez the remote control for the TV, and Wednesday brings him a copy of the TV guide. Pugsley brings Gomez a bag of Doritos, and Lurch brings him a canister of Pringles. Sponsored. Gomez uses the remote to switch channels. An episode of The Cosby Show comes on.
Rerun.
He switches off the TV set and stares at the blank screen.
I don't understand. All he does is watch TV and eat.
Oh, I know. Gomez, let's go for a drive. The whole family.
A drive? And Miss Matlock?
Granny opens the door and sticks her head in.
Dinner's gonna be late.
She slams the door and we hear her whistling.
Here, boy. Here, boy.
Cut to interior court later. Morticia is putting Wednesday to bed.
If that man isn't Uncle Fester, then who is he, Mother?
I don't know, darling. I wish I did.
Why is that lady doing all this?
It's hard to say. Sometimes people have had terrible childhoods, and sometimes they just haven't found their special place in life. And sometimes they're dogs from hell and must be destroyed.
Morticia kisses Wednesday as she closes her eyes to go to sleep. Cut to interior Wemple, middle of the night. The family sleeps, all but Morticia. She sits up in the bed beside Gomez, and she looks around at her family. Wednesday sleeps in the same bed as Granny. Lurch is flat out on the floor. Pugsley uses him for a mattress. Thing uses Pugsley. Pugsley snores in the inhale part of a snore, and Lurch groans at the exhale part. The end thing punctuates by wiggling. Morticia stares down at Gomez for a long beat. She strokes his hair lovingly. Full of resolve, she gets out of bed. Cut to interior Fester's bedroom night. Fester's lying in bed, the covers around his chin. Abigail sits on the bed beside him, tucking him in.
I know why you've been so glum. It's because it's taking us a little longer than we'd hoped to find the gold, isn't that right?
Fester turns away, depressed.
Oh, of course it is. Well, don't you worry. We're right on the verge. Tomorrow, my darling, for certain. You know, some people might think it's strange for a mother and son to be so close, but I think it's beautiful. Don't you, Gordon?
Fester mumbles something under his breath.
What?
Yes, mother, it's beautiful.
Look, I'm weeping.
Abigail exits. The minute the door shuts, Fester gets out of bed. He's fully clothed, goes to the window and begins to climb out. Cut to exterior bungalow later. Morticia, fully dressed, wearing her cloak, heads off down the walk. Unseen by her, Thing trails after. Cut to exterior gate a little later. Morticia, just outside gate, struggles to get it open. Thing, clutching the bars, also attempting to block her way.
Stop it, you two.
Morticia breaks free of Thing. Cut to exterior Addams mansion a little later. Tully opens the front door, smiles maliciously at the sight of Morticia on the street.
I would like to speak with Fester.
Tully steps aside.
We've been expecting you.
Morticia crosses the threshold. Cut to exterior intersection at the foot of the Addams Hill. Night. Thing does his damnedest to flag down any of the few oncoming cars. He waves to no avail. Dances around in frustration, tries hitchhiking, sticks out his thumb. A passing car splashes him with blood. Poor Thing. Screwing up his courage, in a kamikaze leap, he grabs a hold of the bumper of the next car that comes down and hangs on for dear life as the car speeds down the street. Cut to interior study a little later. Morticia is now stretched out on the torture rack. Fester and Tully are securing her hands and feet, under Abigail's supervision. Fester seems torn, agitated, upset.
You are a desperate woman, consumed by greed and infinite bitterness. We could have been such friends.
I don't think so. The vault, Mrs. Addams. Any thoughts?
Despite everything, I don't hate you. I pity you. Persecution, fiendish torture, inhuman depravity. Sometimes it's just not enough.
Gordon, let's get started.
Mother,
Stop stalling.
I'm not stalling. Stop badgering me.
Tully, take over. Tighten it.
I'd love to. You know that, but I've got this stomach thing. When I torture people, it's just me.
Do it.
Where's your bathroom?
No.
Tully shuts his eyes and tightens the rack. Morticia's bones make a horrible popping, stretching sound. She moans rather sensually.
Again.
Tully tightens the rack again. More bone popping noises, and Morticia moans again, even more orgasmically.
Oh!
Tighter.
Tully tightens the rack a third time. Bone popping noises. Morticia moans very voluptuously. She opens her eyes. She sighs in afterglow. She glances at Tully.
You've done this before.
Cut to exterior Wampum Court night. A hand-possessed thing races up the driveway, raising dust as he goes. Exterior bungalow night. Thing leaps dramatically onto the porch, then stops dead to knock on the cabin door. After a beat,
Who is it? We paid through Thursday.
he opens the door and Thing rushes in. Cut to interior bungalow minutes later. Thing skitters on the kitchen counter, frantically signing. In the background, the rest of the family sleeps.
Slow down, thing. It's terrible when you stutter.
Frustrated, Thing grabs a spoon and begins tapping Morse code.
Morticia in danger. Stop. Send help at once. Stop.
Thing flops down in exhausted triumph. Gomez grabs him and heads off. Cut to interior Gomez's study. A few minutes later, Morticia is now lashed to enormous torture wheel. Tully and Abigail are tending to stick branding irons stuck in the roaring fire.
You can't. Not with red hot pokers.
Is this gonna smell?
Tully Alford, charlatan, deadbeat parasite, how Gomez adored you.
Well, not enough.
Morticia, please.
Dear Fester, or whomever you are, which is the real you, the loathsome, underhanded monster you've become, or the loathsome, underhanded monster we came to love?
Don't ask me.
Fester, I saw you tonight at my window. I know it was you.
Gordon?
I was restless. I couldn't sleep.
Gordon, I have a thought. Just a notion, top of my head. Tell me what you think. Since you and Mrs. Addams are so very close,
Abigail takes a red-hot poker out of the fire and hands it to Fester.
be my guest.
Cut to interior Duesenberg night. Gomez cuts the engine. The car glides silently through gates, who opens uncharacteristically without a creak. Gomez stops the car and skulks out. Thing skulks after him. Gomez sees the reflections of the roaring fire through the study window. Cut to interior study as Fester takes the poker and approaches Morticia. Gomez crashes through the window in a backflip, doing Thing judo flips in after Gomez.
Mia.
Mon cher. Abigail?
Addams!
Thing tosses Gomez a saber off the study wall. Tully also grabs a saber and approaches Gomez from behind.
Darling, take care.
Without even looking, Gomez parries Tully's blow from behind, and then he whirls on Tully.
Dirty poor old man. Never again.
This is for keeps, Gomez, not just doubloons.
Tully feints, then slashes, shedding the front of Gomez's jacket.
One for you, Tully, and
Gomez attacks, his blade flashing like lightning. In a blur of action, Tully's sword is knocked from his hand, and he's sent tumbling backwards, finally landing on his knee.
One for me.
Tully looks up at Gomez with cowardly, pleading eyes.
Gomez, it's Tully. I'm your lawyer. I'm on retainer.
Let him up.
Gomez turns to see Abigail, who now has a pistol aimed at Morticia. Never bring a knife to a gunfight. One shot, Morticia will die horribly. Gomez throws aside his sword. Tully scrambles to his feet.
That's right. Now get moving, Addams. Take him to the vault. And if you're not back in 1 hour, I displace her.
Gomez is near enough now to take Morticia's hand on the torture wheel.
Tish, seeing you like this, my blood boils.
As does mine.
This wheel of pain.
Our wheel.
Close up on Fester, confused at watching this emotional display.
To live without you, only that would be torture.
A day alone, only that would be death.
Gomez kisses Morticia's hand.
Knock it off. The vault, Addams, right now.
Mother, can't we?
Gomez reaches for the book that will open the secret panel.
Can it, Gordon? Stop dragging your feet, you disgust me. You're nothing but a useless sniveling baby. A stone around my neck. What was I thinking? I should have left you where I found you.
At Abigail's final words, Fester suddenly leaps forward.
No tricks, Gomez. That's the wrong book.
Close up, Gomez's hand is on the right book, Greed. Fester stops him from pulling it.
Allow me.
Gomez looks into Fester's eyes, realizing what he's about to do.
Good show, old man.
Fester reaches for a different book, Hurricane Irene, A Nightmare from Above. Seeing the title of the book, Tully suddenly panics.
Put that book down, Gordon. You don't know where it can do. It's not just literature.
Oh, really?
I'm your friend, Gord. Think of the doubloons. Where's this?
They're not yours, Tully. Back off.
Angle on Gomez, releasing Morticia from the torture wheel.
Yes, Gomez.
My darling, helps.
Quickly, my darling, quickly.
He helps her down from the wheel.
Leather straps, red hot pokers.
Later, my dearest.
Angle on Fester, facing off with Abigail as Tully cowers.
Keep the book closed, Gordon. Listen to Mother.
I'll never listen to you. Not ever again.
I had to be strict with you, baby, because I cared. Put it down.
You never really loved me.
Angle on Gomez and Morticia, nearing the bookcase.
Come, my love, to safety.
Oh, what a Fester.
Old man, this way.
Angle on Abigail and Fester.
Stop whining. You little good for nothing. Be a man.
You're a terrible mother. There, I said it.
Fester opens the book and blasts Tully out of the window, then he blasts Abigail out as well. Angle on Gomez, who has now pulled the right book, Greed, to open the bookshelf. Amid the storm, he's leading Morticia behind the bookshelf. He tries to hold the bookshelf open for Fester to follow, fighting the gale force winds.
Old man, this way.
Angle on Thing, across the room, struggling across the floor towards the bookshelf. Thing fights the wind, which pelts him with paper and other flying debris. Gomez can no longer fight the storm, and the book slams shut. Fester desperately tries to close the book to quell the storm, but the huge bolt of lightning zaps him. He falls to the floor, with electricity coursing through him. Move in on the storm raging the pages of the book, and then fade to black. Fade in on exterior Addams Mansion next October night. A group of little children approach the front door. There's a hand-lettered sign on the door reading, Halloween Open House. The children are dressed in traditional Halloween costumes. There's a witch, a ghost, a skeleton, so forth. They all carry trick-or-treat bags. They giggle and chatter, and one of the children is pushed forward and knocks on the front door. As the door opens, the children chant.
Trick or...
They freeze mid-chant. We do not see who's opened the door, but the children do. After a beat, they scream in horror and run, terrified, back towards the street. Cut to interior front hall. Lurch is closing the front door, looking puzzled. Poor guy. The family is busily decorating the yeah, there he is. The house for their annual Halloween festivities. All the decorations are elegant yet ancient, dusty and faded. The crystal gloves and the chandeliers have been replaced by miniature jack-o'-lanterns. Skeletons, each wearing a top hat, hang from the sconces by nooses around their necks. There are clusters of black and orange balloons covered with cobwebs. Uncle Fester and Thing are draping the banisters and stairway railings with a garland made from crepe paper, dead branches, and Spanish moss. Skulls, each holding a candle, are scattered about on the stairs and the furniture. A stuffed life-size scarecrow leans against the stairway with a pitchfork through its throat. A banner on the wall reads Happy Halloween and the letters drip with blood. Gomez hangs upside down from the balcony and Morticia hands him the decoration. Granny appears from the kitchen carrying a tray of food.
Well, it's their loss. I even made finger sandwiches.
Perched on Fester's shoulder, Things shakes in fear.
Oh, calm down.
Here we come!
Wednesday and Pugsley come down the stairs. Wednesday's dressed in her usual style, but Pugsley is dressed as a tiny version of Uncle Fester, complete with bald head and greatcoat. The adults are delighted, and Gomez slips onto his feet.
Pugsley, old man.
Look at you.
Do you like it?
Fester's very touched, and he picks Pugsley up.
What can I say? He's gonna break hearts.
Let's get a picture. Lurch.
Oh, yes, in the den.
Everyone starts to move towards the den. There's a knock at the door, and everyone turns. Lurch opens the door. Standing outside are Margaret and Cousin It. Margaret's dressed in a fairy princess outfit, complete with wands. Cousin It wears a cowboy hat and bandana with a holster. Margaret's radiant, obviously very much in love.
Trick or treat.
Look, everyone, we have guests.
Hello, Margaret. Cousin It. I almost didn't recognize you.
Isn't he handsome? Everyone keeps asking where he bought his costume.
It is a wonderful hat.
And what are you, darling? Where's your costume?
This is my costume. I'm a homicidal maniac. They look just like everyone else.
Cut to interior dining room a few minutes later. Fester and Pugsley are posed at one end of the room. Lurch has set up an easel and canvas. He's painting Fester and Pugsley's portrait. Gomez and Wednesday are sitting on the floor amid newspapers, carving a pumpkin. Morticia's knitting. Margaret and Cousin It sit together, holding hands. Granny brings people cups of steaming punch from a punch bowl.
Halloween. It's such a special time. Ghosts and goblins, witches on broomsticks.
Oh,
Children begging in the streets.
I'm so glad I can share this night with my family, my real family, now that I've got my memory back.
oh, that unfortunate woman, filled with evil, but not enough.
She wasn't your mother. She just said that.
You remember old sport. She really did find him tangled in a tuna net 25 years ago with amnesia.
From the Bermuda Triangle.
Oh, how true. Stranger things have happened.
I'm sorry. I'm not bitter, but I blame Tully. Oh, stop. I'm blushing.
Thank God for that lightning. Knocked some sense right into you.
Please, Uncle Fester?
Pugsley.
For the picture.
Fester pops a light bulb into his mouth. It lights, and Pugsley giggles. Gomez stands up, having finished the pumpkin. He places it on a table and lights the candle inside. The pumpkin glows. It has one eye in the middle of its forehead. Everyone oohs and ahs.
And oh, all the old sayings are true. There's no place like home, and blood is thicker than water.
And just as refreshing.
All right, everybody. Time for a game. What shall it be? Bobbing for apples?
Charades?
Of course, wake the dead.
Wake the dead!
Wake the dead out to the cemetery. Come on, everyone.
Everyone starts to exit, chattering happily.
I've never played this before. How does it go?
Did you bring a shovel?
Uncle Fester, will you be on my team?
No, mine.
I tell you what, we'll give you a head start. 3 skulls and a pelvis. How's that?
Pugsley and Wednesday cheer and run out. Fester faces Gomez.
My own dear brother, who could be more precious?
Blood is thicker than water, old man.
And just as refreshing.
Gomez offers his hand. Fester takes it in a manly handshake.
Let us never be parted.
Let us always be as one.
Fester flips Gomez in a judo flip. Gomez lands at the foot of a glass display case. Camera pans up the case. It contains Abigail and Tully, expertly mounted and stuffed. Fester rises, dusting himself off.
Come on! Morticia, you're muted.
Fester runs out. Cut to interior front hall. Everyone's gone. Morticia and Gomez have drifted into the front hall and they're moving towards the front door.
Our family. What are they?
Oh, Tish, what a night. Everyone together at last. What more could we ask?
Gomez.
Morticia holds up the garment she's been knitting. It's a baby jumper with 3 legs.
God, Mia, is it true?
Oui, mon cher.
They embrace as the front door swings open of its own accord. Cut to exterior Addams mansion, same time. Morticia and Gomez are silhouetted in the doorway. There's a full moon. In the distance, a wolf howls. Wispy ghosts split through the night sky. A human scream is heard, followed by Granny's cackle. In the cemetery, torches are seen like fireflies. Fade out. The end.
Ah, da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. Thank you everyone for watching. Everyone did a wonderful job and have a wonderful night. Let me figure out, I gotta stop this video.